Oh, I'm sorry. I did not do a mic check. Can you guys chat for me for a little bit?
What?
Okay, cool. It's coming through. I just want to make sure your guys' audio is coming through. Hey, everybody.
Okay.
Welcome to bonus content. I'm Alex. Nobshin's here. Tony's here. Scott is not here. He's in Chickateague. He's in his island house.
He's been there for a while.
He's been there all week, and he didn't really tell us like exactly why he couldn't record, but he basically said there's like too many people there that it would be too loud for him to record there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like he could like. There's like that one bedroom. He could off to like the side. He could fucking sit in there and.
I don't remember the layout of that house.
Yeah, it's small, but it was nice, man. I often think fondly of us standing in front of the TV and pointing like generals on the TV while we play Might and Magic Clash of Heroes.
Just good shit.
I hope Capybara should make another Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. They should make a sequel to that game for Switch because it's excellent. Tony,
Hi.
how's your week been, man?
Well, it's been pretty slow, I would say, as far as weeks go. I worked a lot, and that's basically my whole week.
You said last week during the show there was like you got into something that you were going to talk about during bonus content, but it would have to wait for this week.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was.
Me either.
Um,
I was hoping.
I have no idea.
I was hoping like I would trigger you in some way and get you to remember.
I mean, last Friday morning, I went and got the windows tinted on my car.
Okay.
And so that process is done now. But I don't know. I don't remember anything super exciting that I meant to talk about.
Sure.
Anyway.
Was it drugs? Bryce Mills in our chat said drugs.
It was probably drugs.
It was probably drugs. I mean, what else are you gonna do in any given week?
Yeah, right. I know. This week has basically just been go to work, play Puzzle and Dragon, get Monster Hunter, play Monster Hunter.
Play Monster Hunter. Do you have like a crew? I mean,
so my whole crew hasn't bought it yet.
Okay.
So right now, I've got people like that I've just played games with in the past that are playing this game that I'm going to play with.
Mm-hmm.
But like the main crew has yet to get the game. So
cool.
I think they're waiting to see if the port is good or not. And I'll tell you right now, the port is good.
Yeah, I've heard very good things. I bet graphically it just looks very good.
You know, it looks good, but I wouldn't say it looks mind-blowingly different. Okay. And I think that speaks a lot to like how good the game looks on a pro.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Also, its style.
Yeah. Like the environments in that game already looked very phenomenal, I think. Cool. I'm curious, Tony, because you work in like a food adjacent workplace.
Uh-huh.
What's like the dopest thing you eat on like a weekly basis? Do you have one? I don't know if like you actually.
Yeah, man. Like Friday is my day off.
Mm-hmm.
So I wake up, sometime between 11:30 and 12:30 in the morning. And then I pop.
Okay.
I turn, which is great. Which is much later than usual for me.
11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m.
No, 11:30 a.m. Well, yeah, that hour.
Yes,
right
gotcha.
there.
Because I didn't know if it was like 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m.
Yeah, sometime within the day.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I wake up around that time, turn on the oven, pop in a frozen pizza, and that is the best meal that I consume on a weekly basis.
Okay. That sounds
It's not,
right.
but I don't know. Like typically on Thursdays at work, we will just have food from one of the restaurants in the area. So it's kind of changes on a weekly basis, but that's like the day. So we'll get Indian food, we'll get anything. So like this week we had food from a place nearby called Chutney, which is an Indian place, and it's good food. So
Good mood
um,
food.
yeah, man.
That
But
sounds
I
good.
don't know if there's I don't necessarily go out and spend all my money on food all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so uh, I want to live that life, right, where I have so much disposable income that I can like go to like something like Ruth's Chris every day. That sounds all right. Get like a $90 steak daily.
I don't spend like $90 on food every day, but I definitely spend too much money on food every day.
You're just like, oh, I spent $30 today and
Mhm.
ate food.
I have like I try and budget it to at most $10 a meal. Um,
Hey
except
man,
on
ten
payday.
dollars a meal through like 13 meals a day. You're in there.
Yeah, I'm in there.
Mhm.
On payday, which is today for me, I go to Chipotle because there's a Chipotle in the mall I work in, and I'll go the whole chips and guac. I'll do the
Oh
$13
shit.
meal. Yeah, I know.
You're like, can I get some guac? And they're like, that's extra. And you're like, yeah. So
The Greg Miller moment of I know this face makes me look like I know guac is extra and I still want it. uh, yeah, I'll pay for that shit. I don't do the guac in the burrito. What I do, I don't know. Are you familiar with my guacamole burrito technique, Tony?
I don't know.
I'll get chips and guac, right? And while I'm eating a burrito, I'll take a chip, I'll dip it in the guac, get a nice good scoop, and I'll rub it in the burrito in my next bite. And,
Oh,
and then I'll take a bite of that. I know you can't eat guacamole. I'm sorry.
I can. I just don't like it.
Yeah. And then what the kind of like the remains of the guac encrusted chip, I will then take a scoop of everything that's in the burrito and eat that. It's like I like to think of myself as the Native American of Chipotle eater. Like I use every part of the burrito.
Uh-huh. Nothing is wasted.
Bryce in our chat, because you said the Monster Hunter World PC port graphics did not blow your mind. He said he wants to know what does it take to blow your mind.
I don't know, man. Like, what's a game? I think, Destiny already looked good, but Destiny looked miles better on PC than it ever did on PS4.
It looks very
Sure.
good on PC.
And so, like, when I've already, I already played Monster Hunter for so long on PS4, and in this version, like, it looks, it runs better. That's
Yeah.
the thing that impresses me more than graphically how it looks, because it looks about the same.
Yeah.
I think the lighting is done, with more quality than it was possible on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it also comes from like it defaults to the highest settings on my rig.
Yeah.
And there aren't a lot of graphics options to max out. I think everything's kind of just done for you when it sets it to highest. But yeah, when all the textures are out there, like, the game looks good. The lighting looks really good. The water looks good. All the effects, and I think the biggest part is it does all that while keeping in a very like uncapped frame rate. I'm at a couple hundred.
Nice.
So all of that makes it definitely a much more seamless experience. But as far as actually how the world looks, it's pretty samey.
Yeah, that's fair. Like also like for folks
Um,
who don't know, like you played on a Pro, which has like the
Yeah,
above 30
yeah.
frames per second mode. So I think it's more important. It wasn't like 30 for you before, but it is more important to say that it is locked 60 for you now, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, well, it's unlocked now. You
Well,
can actually unlock the frame rate.
do you do unlocked
on
or
the
do you lock it?
Yeah, I unlock it,
Okay.
so it can go as high as it wants. But yeah, so I did. I think like it for something that if it was much better as far as graphics are concerned, like say for example PS4 version of The Witcher 3 and then PC version of The Witcher 3 different, which is extremely different between the two, where PC just looks mind blowing compared to PS4.
The fucking load times on PC, dude. In which
That's also I don't know if this was before we went live with
It was
with all
before,
this
yeah.
either. But I was saying earlier that the load times for Monster Hunter are insane compared to the PS4 version.
Yeah.
It's like 1% of the loading time that I experienced on
PS4
PS4
loads
for
were
this stuff.
brutal.
They were quite long. It was like a Bloodborne situation.
Mm-hmm.
And on PC they're almost instant. So that's a huge bonus for me.
Yeah. I'll say like for me, mind blowing graphics, and I imagine you're probably in the same camp, Nabishin. Like they put out that Red Dead 2 gameplay video. Whoo, boy, man, there's some like graphics with like 3x's in that video game.
Yeah, I always thought that game looked good.
Yeah, but like it was the moment where like they went from the snowy like evening shot to like that mountainside, just like the draw distance. It's similar to like when we first saw GTA 5 running on a 360 PS3 of like, man, the draw distance in this game is really impressive.
Sure.
Yeah, it was. It's like what you would want, like Witcher 3 levels of like.
You can see that shoebox very far away.
Yeah. Buildings didn't look great, but draw distance was good. City skyline looked good. So, cool. Nabishin, what you get up to this week?
Nothing. It's just been work.
Work. Is that how that song is?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. How's work treating you?
It is something that I really don't want to get into.
That's fine.
Not exactly happy about it. Just the daily life of what I do. It's very much a situation where it's like, I really enjoy just working, and just working is fine, but like having to deal with having to like conversate with my employees constantly about one thing or another is just like that's just something that's just not a me thing in any way, shape, or form. So.
Yeah. It's so weird because like I don't necessarily want to get too into what I do, but like when I feel better when I'm like today, like I slept horribly last night. I barely got any sleep too. And I was just like in a bad mood through the first part of my shift today. But like when I started interacting with customers, like I felt better. It's a very like I put on I don't want to say it's like a fake persona, like, but like I force myself out of my comfort zone to be like a little bit more gregarious and friendly. And it's weirdly kind of like fake it till you make it thing where it's like, even if I wasn't necessarily in that mood before, after like I've done it for a little bit, I do feel better. I just feel generally a little bit more upbeat. It's a weird thing. I don't know if you get that at all, Nabishin.
No, not at all.
Great. But yeah, I'm like that weird intro extrovert hybrid thing. So where I just like I want to be alone all the time, but then when I hang out with people, it's not like I'm miserable the entire time. I feel good about putting myself out there and whatnot.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like I've done that for, or at least I've attempted that for so long, and like when it's actually like just talking to people, that's fine. That's like having this general conversations. Like I'm good with that. I finally feel like I'm at a good place with that, and I'm happy with doing that. It's more of just like just having like to have to force a conversation one way or another.
Yeah.
Or having to repeat myself over and over again about something, or having to talk to someone when I just don't want to talk at all. Like when I'm working, I want to work. That's what I'm there for. That's all I want to do. Because I feel I'm very good at that, and I very much like doing that a lot, even. And like I don't know. That's just some dumb me thing, but like when I work, I just want to focus on my work and nothing else. And like obviously, like this is part of my work. It's just is to be social and like talk to people. Like I just when I'm focused, I want to stay focused, and when I lose my focus, I get kind of upset by that.
Yeah, I get that. I think like I don't know. I don't necessarily want to give unsolicited advice, even if it's not my intent. But like, for me, it's about like being able to ebb and flow out of both states of mind. But to be fair, like where I work, like I do different things for different blocks of my day, so so I have to do that. So, I do want to point out in our live chat. I mean, I was gonna say you can watch this live, youtube.com/irrationalpassions, but I guess like that's the only place where you can watch this part of the show. We are live currently. If you're watching the archive of this, we are live every Friday night, starting around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Currently, Bryce, Last Geek in the chat says I said earlier that I try and cap myself at $10 a meal. He said he spends roughly $25 a meal. And that motherfucker eats. He told me like his breakfast McDonald meal has like one of each the fucking, not the McMuffin, the McGriddle. Like one of like the sausage and cheese one, the sausage egg and cheese one, and the bacon egg and cheese one. He said in the chat an example was a Baconator plus a large strawberry lemonade from Wendy's, and then he drives to Culver's for 8 chicken strips, which is disgusting. And he takes the chicken strips, I'm sure, and then dips them in the strawberry lemonade. It just goes wild. I feel like 8 chicken strips is more chicken strips than you ever need at any point.
I mean, I went to Chick-fil-A and got 24 nuggets once, and I didn't regret it at all.
But like nuggets is different, you know what I mean? Like I could crush 50 nuggets. I couldn't actually.
No, because I have video evidence of this.
I could attempt.
You want to know how many nuggets you crushed in that video? About 21.
Yeah, 21, right? The thing is, afterward, I got hungry again, and I ate like 10 more. They were cold, not good. But like chicken strips, there's like it's a different dynamic. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. Depends on what you're going to the strip for. You know?
Right, is it like a dip in the strip? Is it like a raw strip?
Well, yeah. If you're looking for for some breading action, you're probably trying to go to Nugtown.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you just want if you want to eat a chicken, then you should probably get the strips.
Yeah. But I feel like 4 strips is like the perfect number. 6 if you're like really hangry, but never 8. I would never recommend 8. But like also a Baconator and 8 chicken strips.
I mean, my typical Wendy's order is like a Baconator and fucking whatever their like cheap order of nugs is. So it's like a Baconator and 6 nugs and a fry.
See, at Wendy's I'll do the 4 for $4. Where you get small fry, double stack, chicken nuggets, and a drink.
But you're getting the wrong burger.
No, I get like I'm going for the cheapo option. I get it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'll get the 4 for $4, and then I'll get another double stack by itself. Like at Burger King, I don't get a combo anymore. Well, I do, but I'll get just like their basic cheeseburger combo. I'll get 2 of them, and it's $7.25 for a large cheeseburger combo and then another cheeseburger. And I'm getting a hell of food for that. It's not a Whopper, which is like the double Whopper would be my go-to, but I'm saving a lot of money. So I don't know. I'm trying to think if I got into any shenanigans this week. We picked out our Airbnb for PAX West, which is exciting. We ended up going with a different one than we were initially going to go with because we discovered this one. It was like $60 more per person, but it's like a 20-minute walk from the convention center, so it's like, oh, beautiful, perfect. Kind of like the spot we had for PAX East this past year. So very excited about that. I found out, unfortunately, I was originally going to be going to Austin next week. I won't be able to make it, which is a bummer. But, it's all right.
Big last-minute scheduling stuff.
Pretty much. Just finances. Like, unfortunately, the Seattle International Airport and the Austin Airport are the two most expensive airports in the fucking world, apparently,
Really?
to fly into. Like, for example, I could fly to SFO and back from BWI for like round trip total cost like maybe $380, like the best price I could get. But to Austin, which is half the distance, minimum is like 480 to 500.
Right.
And Seattle minimum is 480 to like 600. Or like 520 to 600, usually in that range. So it's a bummer, but it's okay. We'll I'll make do. I already took Tuesday off next week, so it's like a thing where I'm just gonna be home next Tuesday, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. Of just like having 2 days off in a row for the first time in a while. But yeah, I mean, I didn't get into too many shenanigans this week. I try to keep it low key, you know. You guys know I don't do anything. You guys want to talk about video games?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it. Let's get this show started. Everybody, we're gonna transition into the podcast proper. I'm trying to think. Do I want to use the bathroom now, or can I hold it? I think I'll be okay. You guys got Audacity ready?
Yeah.
Let me open it.
I don't. I should. Now that I have to like set up the stream thing, and it's like, man, it's like an extra like 4 steps. If everybody watching, if you have a question for us, or you want to send in a question, you can tweet at IrrationalPod and use the hashtag IPQ, and we'll read it on the show. We'll talk about it in the mail sack at the end of the show.
Real talk, Alex. Like, because they never mention it, or at least not really. How do you? This is totally a stupid side note, but how do you send questions to OKBs?
They tweet out the day before.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Or the day of recording. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess that does suck for you.
Cause I was thinking about they never mention it. There's no email there, and they said to do it on their site, but like there's nowhere on the site to actually like send questions to. So I was like,
I think they had a contact page for a little while. Let me see if they still do. We're bunking with the OK Beastie Boys, during PAX West. So I'll tell them. No, actually, I should not read blessings. It's on their page. Email blessing@okbeast.com. You can send those emails directly to him and let him know what questions you got for him.
sure.
I'm pissed because like I always see the tweet for Super Throne Watch, the OK Beast hip hop podcast, after they have just finished recording. Like, I'll send a tweet. I'll see Blessing say, hey, we're about to record Super Throne Watch. We're talking about this, and this. Send us your tweet me your questions, and then I'll respond. And then I'll see, because Twitter does this fucking bullshit thing of like, this was tweeted 4.5 hours ago, and I'm like, shit. And then I'll text Roger Picorni. I'll say, hey, did you guys record, like, in a frantic like panic, and I'll be, Roger, did you guys record Super Throne Watch? And he'll always respond, just finished. And I'm like, God damn it. So yeah, I'll tell Blessing directly that his circuitous method of soliciting questions is not conducive to your needs, Nabashin. And that he should get his shit together. Cool. I think that's it. Let me make sure. Or you want to send it? Check. Hey everybody. Cool. All right, you guys ready to start recording?
Yeah.
Tony, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
On 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Got him.
We did it.
Another weird fact about me that I've noticed lately is that I pretty much eliminated like all like anything that involves like television out of my life now. like somewhat including anime, but not really.
Well, there are exceptions to every
it,
rule, My Hero
well,
Academia and whatnot.
I haven't watched that in weeks,
That's
but
true.
like,
Yeah, you're reading it like a goddamn nerd.
but like my movie watching. Like I've been watching so many movies lately. Like I watch more movies than I actually watch TV shows.
Do you think it's kind of funny and Review's fault?
Partially, but like it's also just like in a general thing. Like obviously because of Movie Pass, even though I just canceled them. I've been going to movies a lot lately, so like I see a movie at least like a new movie, newish movie, or I go see a movie like at least like maybe like 5 times a month, maybe
Damn.
less, maybe more.
That's cool though. I like going and seeing movies.
Yeah, like I got into that fix of like seeing movies a lot lately, and I've been enjoying that.
That's a nice. I feel like that's a nice thing though. People shit on the going and seeing a movie by yourself, but like I don't know, man. It's very calming for me. Assuming like I feel like the nice thing about Movie Pass, you can go whenever you want. And like my perfect movie time is like 11:30 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. on a Sunday, right? Where like nobody's there, or at the very most, very minimal amount of people are there. Nicole says, "I clutched my pearls. No, my hero." I'll say this now, Shin. So I know, very excited for me. I'm caught up on My Hero Academia. New episode tomorrow night. Very excited. So I guess they're just now about to start the provisional license exam. Seems like a very good like mini arc. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it a lot actually.
Yeah.
And to like clarify what I'm saying, I mean like when I say I don't watch anime or My Hero, I mean like I don't watch it like by a weekly basis now. It's more of like I watch it like 5 episodes in a row type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
probably a better way to.
So like a movie link. So like that's
yeah, right?
I've been watching the shitload of movies lately.
You only consume content in an hour to 2.5 hour span, which also includes XEU and review. So those fucking things. I've not watched Apocalypse yet. Very excited.
Dude, rewatching that fucking movie because like famously, me and Andrew Taylor, like we fell asleep like almost immediately when that movie started, and I woke up around where Quicksilver showed up. I think he fell asleep.
You got the good part,
that time, and I think he fell asleep right around that time. So, but like didn't remember a goddamn thing about the movie whatsoever. So like all that beginning part is like completely new to me, and it was just like, man, still don't like the movie at all. But like, yeah,
You don't like it at all?
I don't like it at all. No. Like the Quicksilver part is real good, and that's it.
Okay.
For me.
As long as there's just that Quicksilver scene. How do you feel about? Because I forget to pick your brain each week. How do you feel about First Class?
Oh, First Class was great. Okay. Like
because you had you not seen it before?
No, I'd never seen it before.
Okay.
So like
that's what I thought.
Yeah, like seeing Days of Future Past before then, and it's like, oh, like
I forgot how good Days of Future Past was.
Yeah, dude, like seeing that movie again, like if I was still doing fresh, I guess I'm not anymore. But like that's something I would like to get like people together just like this to talk about like what are the greats for like superhero movies in general? Let's do a top 10 of that, like because like there's interesting discussions about that because like then you have to talk about like how you compare Spider-Man 2 to like Spider-Man Homecoming type of thing. And it's like, oh, this is like a traditional Spider-Man story, and this one is like a Spider-Man coming to age story. They're both really good, and like I would probably put both of them on that list, honestly. But like Days of Future Past, like rewatching it again, I was like, oh yeah, that's like easily like one of the best. Even though it's like it's convoluted and like you have to like suspend your disbelief a lot, but like the ending is so fucking good in that movie. It's like it almost makes up for everything. And it's like so you didn't need anything more, you didn't need anything less. Like they ended the X-Men right then, and like Disney bought them then, and it's like they started the new reboot.
Yeah, they rebooted it then.
Perfect. Like, I've been perfect.
Yeah, it's how it ended. Oh yeah, and then they made Apocalypse.
Yeah,
because like I feel like they could have done Days of Future Past and then made Deadpool 2, and Logan, and it would have been it's like fine because they're basically independent movies. But then they made Apocalypse. I, again, had no idea Dark Phoenix was a thing that existed, although it might not exist anymore, so We'll find out.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't rewatch the movies with the in review series, but hearing them go through it again, I was like, yeah, fuck, this movie had like really great moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's like genuinely some of those scenes with the Sentinels fucked me up. Like it was like violent
Oh, it's
in
brutal,
a
dude.
really unsettling way. Like
Oh yeah.
I've seen that movie once in my life, and the scene of that Sentinel ripping Colossus apart is ingrained in my like retinas. It's horrifying. Oh, but anyway, let's get this party started. Jarrett says in the chat, guys, have you heard about this really cool game called Dead Cells? We're gonna talk about it in a little bit. Don't worry. It is Friday, August 10th, 2018, and you were listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I'm your host, Alex O'Neill, and joining me this week, as always, is Tony Horvath. As always. You're just there with me always, holding my hand, holding my hair back.
Yeah.
And joining us as well, as always, Brian Nobishin Jackson.
Whoa. Let me tell you something, Jay-Bird. Batman doesn't do ships, as in relationships. There is no us. Batman and Joker are not a thing. I don't need you. I don't need anyone. You mean nothing to me. No one does.
What is this from?
Lego Batman.
Oh, really? Okay. I still gotta watch that. Hey everybody, welcome to Irrational Passions podcast. Scott Guthier, our other host, is not here this evening. He's in a house full of people, is I believe how he would describe it to us. And so it is not quiet. It is not conducive recording environment. So he could not make it this week. But he sends his love, and I got a text. I forgot to text him the release date for The World Ends With You.
Oh.
No. He already did that. He did that better than I did, Nabashin. No, The World Ends With You final remix, which we'll cover in news. Welcome to the show. It's Irrational Passions podcast, the flagship podcast of IrrationalPassions.com. And we're going to talk about some video games. And we survived the dead heat of the summer, although to be fair, we are still in the dead heat of the summer. But I'm very excited to say news is happening again. We made it. Everybody, thank you for your service, Tony. We
You're
did
welcome. I know you couldn't have done it without me.
it. You're my rock, basically. You're my Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I'll take that.
Yeah. And we got news to talk about this week. We've got video games to talk about this week. It's going to be a great show. I'm very excited. And let's kick things off with some housekeeping. A couple of things I'd like all of you wonderful listeners to know about. Tons of stuff have been going up on the website, IrrationalPassions.com this week. So let's start at the top. Earlier this week, or late last week actually, Jarrett Green, editor, posted his Mother Gunship review. I know I mentioned it last week, just want to give it a little bit more love again. Mike Burgess reviewed Flipping Death, written review on the site, video review up on the site as well. I love Mike's video reviews. It's probably his best one yet. He just crushes it. Flipping Death, very cool game. It's like a 2D puzzle game where you play a young woman who just died, and death meets her and says, "Oh, you're here to take my place, so I can go on vacation finally." And so he gives you all the powers of death, and suddenly you are using these crazy ghost-like powers to hopefully unend your accidental death, but also solve all these problems and troubles of the people of this wacky little universe. It's really cool. It's very stylish. Art style is very similar to Stick It to the Man, if you remember that. I believe it's the same developer. But yeah, go check it out. Mike did a really great job with it. I'm pretty much almost caught up on editing Irrational Passions podcast. 388, last week's podcast, is almost up, but 387 is up with Scott White. Tony finally got me his audio file. I'm very excited, Tony.
Hey man, I thought I gave it to you, and then you texted me. I was like, "Oh, I should put that up." And then I thought I had put it up. You texted me again, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I should do that right now."
To be fair, you did respond to me multiple times with never.
Yeah, and that's like I was doing that like as I was like, "All right, time to go do that."
Yeah. But I got it just before we started recording, so I apologize again profusely for the late audio posts of the podcast, but we should be all caught up this coming week. I popped a review. I don't think I've reviewed anything since like God of War. Been a minute, but I reviewed Pixel Ripped 1989 VR game. I talked about it over the last couple episodes of the podcast. I enjoyed it a lot. It has some moments that hit you in the feels in a really cool way that I was not expecting. And I think it's cool. It's a cool VR game, and you should go check it out. If you have PSVR or Oculus or Vive, it is available on all platforms. I played it on PSVR, but I digress. George Cruz Alvarez has a review up of Narcosis, an underwater horror game. It sounds like it unfortunately fails more than it succeeds in creating tension. It seems like one of those things where there's a lot of moments where it'll like just instantly kill you, and it's like more frustrating than it is rewarding to be tensing. Input up this week. Mike Burgess's first appearance on Input, video producer at IrrationalPod.com. Very exciting. Big news topic of the week. We won't necessarily be talking about it this week on our show, but Input did a great job covering the IGN plagiarism situation. Philip from former Nintendo editor at IGN fired for plagiarism. Video game industry scandal. Plagiarism is bad. If you want to know my stance on it, it's terrifying. I think it's an easier thing to fall into than you give credit for, than people give credit for often. Obviously, sometimes it's easier than other times, and in this specific instance, I think the writing is pretty on the wall. Unfortunately, I really wanted to believe good intentions were had, and maybe it was just an honest mistake. But you can listen to Input for more details. I believe they break down some of the direct quotes from Philip's review of Dead Cells to the plagiarized review of Dead Cells. I apologize profusely. I don't know the exact
YouTuber.
I'm trying to.
Boomstick Gaming.
Boomstick Gaming. Yes, crowdfunded YouTube channel, and just like all around passionate dude. He put up a video kind of pointing out the incidents, and then the whole internet burned up. Now, keep in mind, Philip did post a response video today that I've actually not watched, but they did not cover that on Input. I'm sure they will get to it next week, though, as this story continues to unfold. But go listen to that. Mike Burgess is on it, so really you have no excuse. And Scott White has a new opinion piece up. It's been a little bit since we had a good opinion write-up about Octopath Traveler and the supply shortages for Octopath. Really great piece, edited by Jarrett, written by Scott, kind of talking about how Square should have been a little bit more prepared for how well that game was going to do, because people have been hungry for that kind of thing. I liked Scott's kind of stance on it, and I think him and Jarrett worked together to really make some good refined points. So you should go give that a read. Ton of amazing stuff up on the site this week. Excited to say a couple of things I just want to shout out while we are in housekeeping. We recorded the first episode of a brand new show last night. And I don't want to necessarily give too much away because we were cutting together a little bit of a trailer for it. It's a new video series, I would say, along the lines of Podcast Ultimate, but it's not like a limited run series. It is a brand new show, like a totally new ongoing show from IrrationalPassions.com that includes all of the writers and editors that will change and have different people on it on a regular basis. I'm very, very excited about it. And we recorded the first episode of that last night, and it was awesome. I had a ton of fun. I think it went very well. And I'm excited for y'all to hear it. I think the plan is for it to go up sometime next week or the week that this is going to be releasing in audio form. I don't know for sure. It's kind of in Scott's hands, and also like we don't want to rush it. We want to make sure it comes out primo quality. But also we are recording episode 2 of Podcast Ultimate next week. Speaking of Podcast Ultimate, it is our limited run Super Smash Bros. Ultimate podcast. We're going to be talking about the Smash Brothers Nintendo Direct from this past week. We'll also be talking about that on this show, but we're going to be getting into it on Podcast Ultimate. And, of course, pitching new characters and new stuff, and it's going to be a great time. We're recording a little bit early this month because we are going to be at PAX West at the end of this month. If you are going to be in Seattle at PAX West at the end of the month, come say hi to the Irrational Passions fellows. It'll be myself, Scott White, Mike Burgess, and Logan Wilkinson. We're going to get into some shenanigans. It's going to be the first time I've been in Seattle since 2012. First time going to PAX West since. So it's only been 6 years. We'll see how much I forgot about the city since then, which is to say everything.
Will you wear that legendary scarf again?
Ooh. I should lean into the Harry Potter aesthetic again. The thing is, like, the best part about that, there's a great picture of me basically dressed up like a Hogwarts attendee, Hogwarts Ravenclaw student from Seattle way back when. But we had to take a train into the city every day, which was very Harry Potter. So it was thematically appropriate. We won't have to do that this time. Luckily, we will actually be in the city proper. So, either way, I'm very excited. We are going to be staying with OK Beast. We're going to be sharing a Airbnb with all the OK Beast fellas and Logan Moore. Logan Moore will also be there from Dual Shockers. And we're going to be doing a crossover that I'm pretty excited about. Details are scarce right now, let's say. It is in the pre-production stages, but we're going to be doing, the plan is a live show one of the nights. So between August 31st and September 2nd, we will be doing a live recording of a show, a crossover show with Blessing Adeoye, Ian Preschel, and Alex Van Aken, as well as myself, Logan Wilkinson, Mike Burgess, and Scott White. Logan Moore might make an appearance since he will just be there. It's going to be a great fucking time. I think you should tune in. Twitch.tv/OKBeast now, I think, is their Twitch. Or OKBeast, one of the two. And Twitch.tv/IrrationalPassions. So, yeah. And we got new stuff coming, too. A new thing's recording tomorrow as well. We've been busy at Irrational Passions. And if you're not checking IrrationalPassions.com, you should be. But that's it for housekeeping. Excited. Again, if you're going to be in Seattle, please let me know. I'd love to hang out. I guess, like, I should at least put this idea out there. There is a kind of funny panel Saturday at 7 p.m. I don't remember the theater it's in. I should write that down. It is an interwebsite tournament of sorts, and if you go to that, you might see one of us. It's gonna be a good time. I don't want to. We're trying. Like, I don't know. Like, someone will be there from Irrational Passions. I don't want to give too many details away, but it's gonna be fucking weird. We're gonna get weird in Seattle. That's the plan. But that's it. That's no more housekeeping. I'm done. I promise.
What about NATO show?
Oh yeah, that's right. I think I was on two. I was on 2 podcasts this week. 3, 4. I don't remember, honestly. I was on an episode of Dad's Beards Nerds. That was unfortunately lost to the internet. I ruined that episode. I guess I ruined their podcast. I feel so bad. You should listen to their show. It's very cool. It's very relaxed and fun. But Anthony, the host of that show, is like very good also. But you can't listen to the episode I was on, unfortunately. I was on Nato Johnston's new podcast. Well, new to him. Podcast has been around for a while. You Game Bro. It's like a live Twitch show. NATO had me on this past Saturday. It was a very fun time. We talked about video games. NATO's a big sweetheart, as you can imagine. We recorded the second episode in the Three Best Friends podcast series, limited run series about Kingdom Hearts. The second episode where we talked about Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. I tried to rep you well in regards to defending 358 over 2 days option. They didn't.
Hey man, I like that story.
Yeah, they did not like it as much, which is fair. But I gave the devil's advocate response. But yeah, again, I'm out there trying to podcast every fucking day of my life. I think I've recorded 3 nights in a row now, so I'm excited to come home from work tomorrow night and just do nothing. But that's it. That's it for housekeeping. Thanks everybody for always tuning in, watching, supporting. Y'all are sweethearts. Let's talk about video games. I'm pretty excited to hear about Monster Hunter World, Tony.
Hell yeah.
On the personal computer platform, Tony Horvath. Let's talk about video games. What have you been playing, man?
So, been playing a whole lot of Puzzle and Dragons.
Pad.
Yeah.
How's it treating you?
It's pretty good.
Does Puzzle and Dragons make you happy, Tony?
It fills the time.
Okay. Sometimes that's all you need, right?
It's a mental challenge because you're actually you're solving a puzzle, you know.
It is very puzzly.
And it has collection aspects, it has waifu aspects, so you got to get in there.
It's really hitting all the notes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's my big 3: puzzles, collections, and waifus.
Yeah, that sounds like a trio.
Mm-hmm.
A menage a trois, if I may.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a constant grind, but it's like a fun one. And it's all so you get a new thing, and then to finish working on that thing, it takes a bunch of grinding and getting the stuff that you need from specific places. And it's pretty good. It's fun, and we have 6 of us that play every day, and there is co-op, 2-player and 3-player co-op in there. So
there's a 3-player co-op now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that relatively new?
No, it's at least a year and a half old.
Okay, new to you then maybe.
It was a new thing when I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, but not super new.
Yeah, because I remember driving a car with you and Scott in it, and the 2 of you were fucking playing co-op Puzzle and Dragons. And
yeah, that's all Scott and I do.
I was like, fucking kill me. Make it end.
Yeah, so we do that, and then the only other game I think that I played this week is Monster Hunter. So
tell me about Monster Hunter. You're playing on
Monster
PC?
Hunter, yeah, so I'm playing on PC, but I'm still using a controller.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like the PC controls that much, especially for the weapon that I'm using. I don't know. I kind of gave up on the mouse and keyboard aspect of it pretty quick, so I probably just didn't learn it very well.
Mm-hmm.
But
Real hunters use game pads.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. After playing so much Monster Hunter on a controller, I'm just used to it. So I synced up my PS4 controller to my PC. Just it connects through Bluetooth. So I just kick back and play Monster Hunter. It has been long enough since I was grinding it out on PS4 that I don't mind restarting and kind of building up the collection again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. It's kind of annoying being so weak compared to what I used to be. Fighting these early game monsters and having it take multiple 12 to 15 minutes to kill some of these things. I'm using a bow again, and bows are not very good at fighting Barross, which are these giant rock monsters.
Yeah, fuck those
obviously,
guys.
if you fire arrows at a giant rock monster, you have to hit you have to hit his underbelly basically to do damage. So that monster in particular took me 15 minutes to kill just because of how it was set up. And I don't do that much damage compared to what I used to do. So it's not bad. I think it runs much better than it did on PS4. Not to say that it ran poorly on PS4, but load times are amazing
Yeah.
and all that. So yeah, it's all in all an enjoyable experience so far.
I'm curious, like, because obviously they've added a ton of stuff, like not just like the event stuff, like the Street Fighter thing and whatnot, but also they're doing like that Final Fantasy 14 crossover. I don't know if that's still going on.
I don't know how that works with the PC version.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, if that was still present in the PC version.
Yeah,
I think Max said like they'll come eventually. It's a matter of just trying to like get people. I'm sorry, Maximilian dude. I just said Max. Yeah, I think he said it'll come like eventually.
Okay.
It's just like they just wanted people to start out vanilla before you get like they didn't want to start out all the stuff all at the beginning.
That's
Work
fair.
towards it type of thing.
Yeah, because like a lot of that stuff I know is you have to be a pretty higher rank and level to kind of get into, so or to actually get through. So to drop all of this kind of late game stuff that is limited time right at the beginning would not make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard good things about that Behemoth Hunt, which is like the Final Fantasy 14 crossover event for Monster Hunter World. So I heard it's fun and hard. So
yeah, I'm excited about it.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Cool.
I got
man.
I got a lot of playing to do to get back my old shit.
Hell yeah, dude. Have you finished like the low rank shit already? You just blasted it through.
No, so I mean, I only bought it 5 p.m. today.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you got it yesterday or not.
No, I bought it at 5 p.m. today. So that's, for reference, a little less than 4 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I want to say like maybe a third of the way through the low rank stuff. So 1/6 of the way through like the quest content of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's knowing like exactly where everything is and not like stopping to smell the roses,
Yeah,
So,
I get you.
Yeah, basically what I'm trying to do, and I'm using like I'm not like when I first played the game, and really I think that when you are first playing the game, you should like take it slow, gather stuff, upgrade your stuff as you go, and like play the game. But what I'm doing is more like killing the monsters because I already know how all of them work and know their weak points and such.
Yeah.
So I'm using slightly less powerful equipment because I'm not grinding to upgrade all my stuff. Like I'm using there's like for each weapon there's an iron version of it or like an ore version of the weapon that you can upgrade like 9 times. And you can just upgrade it as you get to new areas and get new resources, as long as you're like mining the mineable spots. So I'm just using that weapon, and I upgrade it every time I get the materials for the next thing. I'll eventually that will be my first weapon that I max out because you could I didn't know this when I first did it, but one of the better versions of each of these weapons is the end of that tree. So I'm just going to upgrade that one, and as I go through the game, keep upgrading that. And I'm going to use, and now knowing better how the systems in the game work, I'm just going to use the base leather armor that it gives you, upgrade that, and then when I get past when I get into high rank, then I'll start worrying about armor sets, because there's no reason to worry about low rank armor.
Yeah, you kind of get through with the basic stuff.
I mean, if you're not getting hit, you don't need armor. So
fair enough. Forgot I was talking to MLG Pro.
I mean, and that's not necessarily, I mean, for low rank, at least that's true. For high rank, you start getting like modifiers on your armor, and slots and gem slots and stuff matter. Yes. So that's when, and the armor is just generally, much better in high rank. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to wait until I get to that point and conserve my all my resources and such.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because like in high rank, you are fighting superior versions of monsters that you fought in low rank, as well as new monsters.
It's not cut and dry like that, but yes, you have the idea.
Yeah. But like those better monsters can drop the same materials that the low rank versions dropped, right?
So no, the low rank version. So say you're fighting a Juratotus, right? That guy drops like a Juratotus scale in low rank, but then when you get to high rank, he drops a Juratotus scale plus.
Yes. Okay, you're right.
So you're grinding for those. You want to grind the high rank versions of monsters to get the high rank materials.
Mm-hmm. It's been a minute. I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I didn't get too super into high rank. I ended up playing more high rank than I thought I would, because as soon as I got there, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But then I didn't. Like I said, I played a little bit more, but I don't know. I I know I've had like conflicting opinions of Monster Hunter World, but I generally really enjoyed my time with it. Like I feel like I got Monster Hunter by the end of it. It was just a thing of I also moved on to other things at a point. So that's a good video game, Tony.
Yeah, it is a good video game.
Would you say Monster Hunter World one of the 10 best video games of 2018?
Yes, I'd say probably the best game 2016 so far.
2016.
Yeah, 2018. What year are we in?
Really, no one knows. No one's quite sure. Yeah, I would say it is up there, at the very least. Would you say that's probably your game of the year so far?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, especially now it's on PC too.
No, it's honestly, it's probably Ni no Kuni 2. That game blew me away.
Yeah, that hour and 30 you play that game really stuck with you.
Hey man, it was more like 2 hours.
Fair enough. You been playing anything else?
Fucking Ding Dong Dell.
Fucking Ding Dong Dell is the name of my favorite porno.
No, but I attended a guild meeting last night for the guild that I was playing Black Desert Online with.
Oh my goodness.
But it's the guild that I joined when I left the retail server, started playing on the private server. I joined this guild.
Yeah.
And I was gonna. This is the guild that I was gonna play Bless Online with.
Yeah.
And I decided not to because Bless Online is hot Street Fire.
Fucking garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
bad.
still get so many emails about Bless Online. I want you to know, like, they're desperate for that coverage.
The funny part is, like, that game, if you look at, like, the graph, it's... So, okay, No Man's Sky came out,
Yeah.
right? And the Steam player base for No Man's Sky exploded overnight.
Yeah.
There was a graphic that someone posted in a chat channel that I was reading offhand one day. That was like, it showed the peak active players for No Man's Sky at the time, and this was probably like the day before when they made the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it is a very high number. I want to say something like 250,000 concurrent players at peak.
Yeah.
And then right below that, they had pasted in the statistics for Bless Online. And it was like past 24 hours, peak concurrent players. And the number was something like 4,000.
Nice.
So the game was basically dead. So anyway, I left this guild, but I didn't leave it. Like, I was just like, I'm not playing this game with you, but like, I'm down. Like, I like the community or whatever.
Yeah, you guys are cool, but I don't want
Yeah, we're cool, but this game's trash.
Yeah.
And then I refunded it, got my $150 back.
Oh, I didn't know that you got the refund. That's good.
Yeah, there was a whole thing with that. I'm not going to get into, but it was more complicated than it needed to be. And I really don't like Steam support because it didn't need to be so complicated, but they made it that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I got my money back, and then I kind of like at first I left their Discord, and that's kind of like detaching yourself from the community. Then immediately, the guy who runs the thing was like, he sends me a direct message and was like, "Hey, you didn't need to leave. Like, you can still be part of the community, and whenever we go to something new, obviously you're welcome." And whatever. So anyway, they put out a thing where like, yeah, we're having a guild meeting. Everybody who's in there, hit us up. And so I went to this thing last night, and they're like, yeah, like we're the strongest guild in all of Bless Online, but that's not really saying anything because there are only like 6,000 players total. There's no point in even waiting for the big PvP siege stuff to come out. We're just kind of done with it. So they're now leaving that. So the one big guild that's left in Bless Online has basically now left the server.
Mm-hmm.
So that game's definitely is more dead than it ever has been now.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're moving to Elder Scrolls Online. And I was like, no. Yeah.
People like that game, man.
People like that game. I tried it.
I know you tried.
When I first quit Black Desert Online, I was looking. We were looking for like what's an MMO to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one that we looked at. And I tried it for like 3 days, and it's not for me.
Yeah.
I think that the Elder Scrolls system of combat has not aged well, at least in my opinion, and they continue to use that in ESO.
Yeah.
So, right? Like,
no, I get it.
So anyway, they had that meeting, and I was like, no thanks. Maybe the next one when Crowfall comes out next year.
Battle of Azeroth.
No, absolutely not.
I was gonna say, like, why? Isn't
Yeah,
WoW hot right now?
Battle for Azeroth is like either came out or is coming out in the next couple days.
Next week, I think. Yeah.
Or next week. Yeah, I couldn't be less interested.
Okay.
To be fair, like, you've played a lot of WoW. Like, I don't know how much more you
Yeah.
can get out of that game, even with new content. So
Yeah, I don't know. If I get bored enough and it's like on sale or whatever, I have friends who want me to play. So, and I've said before, like that won't make me play the game, but like boredom.
Did you I didn't put it in. I love that fucking burn though. I didn't put it in news this week, but did you see the headline floating around? Blizzard said they were working on quote unquote multiple Diablo projects.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm really excited for whatever they're gonna do next with Diablo.
Yeah, me too. I'm stoked. That game is like just ripe for a new iteration and just like innovation and new characters and stuff. So
yeah,
whatever it is, it's gonna be fucking great.
I bought that game.
That game's great, man. That is
I don't have my save anymore though, so.
Oh well.
Can't do it.
So burnt.
I guess I could like ask Griffin to like upload my save or whatever, but like, it's too much work.
So here's the thing that I did want to talk about as far as like cool games and things that are changing, moving and shaking in the game sphere for this week.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this directly, but one of my friends was telling me about, because we have this group, Scott, me, and these other guys. We play Stellaris.
Yeah.
And he posted a link to this massive balance change that they're making to Stellaris. They're like completely changing fundamental structures of how the game works and systems therein. So it's really interesting to see what these changes are going to be. Like, for example, when you Stellaris, you're making a system of planets that house a lot of your production. And you then have spaceports, which that's a whole new thing added recently, that you make your ships out of, and you can fortify to protect your systems and your territory, et cetera, et cetera. And so these planets that you were making, like you'd have a bunch of tiles. If a planet's size is based on how many tiles it has on its surface. So a good planet has 30 tiles, and each tile you grow a population on to work a building that can exploit that planet's resources. And you use those resources obviously to do everything. So in this update, they're making it so that planets don't have those tiles anymore. Like, your economy is not based on the processing buildings that you make on a planet. And then a bunch of other like radically huge changes to the game. So it's very interesting to see like that whole game change.
That's really cool.
It's super interesting because I think one of the worst parts about Stellaris, and it's not a bad part about it, but one of the
weakest part.
One of the tedious parts of it is sitting there and every single game spending so much time clicking on those buildings. Because if you have 7, up to around 7 maximum control points or control system influence points that you can have, so you have 7 different systems, and you can take control of each planet inside a system up to that cap. So if you've got 7 systems, maybe you've got 1 to 3 planets in each one. At the end of the day, you've got like over 20 planets, each with 30 slots. And over time, you're getting upgrades, like maybe your mineral processing plants get level 3 or 4. So you have to then go through all 20 planets and upgrade each one of those buildings on up to 30 slots. So it's just a bunch of clicking. So I think that was one of the more annoying parts of playing Stellaris, and more tedious parts. And it looks like they're moving to get rid of some of that, so you can focus more on, like space conquest and sectoring off units as you expand, and kind of eliminating a lot of the, mid game, I would say, of Stellaris, and maybe the early mid game, where you just spend a long time letting your starships explore the galaxy and working on tech and upgrading, getting ready to fight other things, forming, an alliance with other NPCs if you're playing solo, or what we always do is we just make our own federation of like the 5 of us, and then go from there. So it's definitely like I'm curious and excited to see where they take Stellaris, because I've never seen a game like Stellaris make such huge changes to the fundamental systems in that game, or in their game. And I'm interested to see what effects it will have on the game at large.
Yeah, that's really cool. Keep us updated. I'm sure you and Scott will definitely be playing. So
Who knows? Maybe you'll play with us sometime.
I really do want to. Like it's not a matter of like I don't want to or I hate Stellaris or something. So yeah, that's cool. That's exciting stuff.
All right. Would it make you more interested in Stellaris if I told you there's a Steam Workshop mod that allows you to play as Asari?
A little bit, honestly.
Yeah,
that's cool. I love that kind of stuff too. I feel like somebody had mentioned that to me as well. But yeah, Stellaris just seems like such a cool game. I'm so glad it's doing well. Do you think they'll at some point make like a Stellaris 2?
I think that if they do that, it's very far off. I think that they, by doing updates like this, are committing more to Stellaris as a platform with which to, make more expansions for.
Yeah.
Which they've already done. There are tons of expansions to Stellaris, and the coolest thing about how they've done that, and the smartest move, I think one of the smarter moves they made as a company, is only one person in your party has to own the expansion for all players to be able to use the gameplay features of that expansion. Where the limiting factor in what they use to drive sales is like if they have a new type of empire, like for example, there's an expansion that came out that allowed you to play as a fully synthetic empire of all machines.
Yeah.
Which you can't actually play as the new Civ type unless you own the expansion. But as long as the person hosting the game or the person who makes the game owns all of the expansions, which for us, one of the people in our group owns everything, everyone gets to use everything in that multiplayer game.
Yeah.
So it allows us not to have every single person buy every single thing.
Yeah, it's like very non-restrictive, which is good.
Yeah.
I feel like that has been a big part of that game's success is just like how open they are to that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So cool, man.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best. Like, it's probably the best 4X game out right now.
Mm-hmm.
At least in that, as long as you're not totally against the sci-fi space exploration stuff.
Yeah.
There's just so much depth to that game that's not available in another game like that, or is done in a completely different way. Where like, you may be able to make a different army compositions in Civ or whatever. Like you can get spearmen and cavalry or whatever, but in Stellaris, you are making every single ship from scratch down to the component level before you pump out hundreds of them to go on a galactic conquest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Cool, man. Very exciting stuff. Paradox did that. Paradox Interactive. I totally forgot about them. They did like the Europa games. I was looking at their Wikipedia page, and it's like, it's cool. It's cool to see them like really hit on something because I know they've been like, obviously smaller than Firaxis, which is like probably the biggest of the 4X developers. But
yeah, they do a lot of stuff right, which is really nice to see.
It feels like they also like listen too, like they're really listening to that.
Yeah, I mean the entire that they have Steam Workshop support. And you can basically just use whatever mods you want while playing that game. It's pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
Anything you want.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Nabashin.
Mm-hmm.
Video games.
Yeah.
What you been playing, man?
Not much really.
You say that every fucking week, and then
I do say that every week,
and we always have like a really great 15 to 20 minute conversation.
That's the only catchphrase I have. Alex, let me have it.
You're right. I'm sorry. Nothing much really. Go on.
No, it was just a couple of mainstays, and like only one new game really.
Mm-hmm.
I played a little bit more Valkyria Chronicles because I've played the demo for Valkyria Chronicles 4, just to like the first mission of that.
I just played the first mission of that as well.
Yeah, and just to get my feet wet and then just to see how it was, and like it looks great, it looks like everything I wanted. So it's like, okay, I don't want to like take that too much, but they said that you get a bonus for playing that, so I kept the save in this.
You can also, it carries your progress over too.
Yeah, I realize that, but like I would rather just like go through that beginning part again and just enjoy that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I enjoyed playing that game, the Valkyria 4 demo, because like it was literally like I really don't need these tutorials at all because it plays exactly the same as Valkyria Chronicles. So it's like that's great, that's awesome. So I'm just getting ready to play more of that. So
Would you play the demo on?
On PS4.
Okay. I played it on Switch just because I was curious what it would look and feel like.
Yeah.
It's
I was
very.
debating doing it on Xbox to see like how it would look like the best.
Mhm.
It it was pretty much the same, but
Yeah,
sure.
it's like that game is so stylized. It's cool though, because when I was booting it up, I was thinking about like, man, like Valkyria really is like that. It's like it's a big game, but it is a game that can release simultaneously on all three of those platforms, and it's like fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's rad. Like, it is maybe it's the first I guess I can think of. It certainly won't be the last. Like we have another big game that also fits in that, like that we're going to talk about in news. But yeah, it's just like to see a game launch alongside the PS4, Xbox One versions on Switch, and it's like, yeah, it's a dumbed down version. It's not 60 FPS, which I imagine the PS4 one is, and stuff like that. But it's fine. Like it is cool. Like it is cool that you take those slight hits, but it runs well and looks good on Switch. So, and to be fair, like the style of that game works fucking anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Put that game on 3DS. Don't actually do that. But yeah, I was really impressed by how it looked and all that on Switch. I didn't play it in handheld mode. I just played on the TV. But it was, I'll say, like, because we didn't really get the chance to talk about it, it was a little samey. I hope it's...
Like I said, I'd say it was exactly the same. And, like, that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. I hope it's not too samey. I like... you play as part of the Federation, which were, like, one of... Just, like, you play as Gallia in Valkyria Chronicles. For listeners at home, Gallia is, like, Switzerland, basically, in this fake Japanese interpretation of Europe. They're, like, a neutral, small country that is independent of, like, these big wars between these big two conglomerate countries, the Empire and the Federation. And now in Valkyria Chronicles 4, you play as the Federation. Same war from Valkyria Chronicles 1, but obviously you're on a different side, a different group of people. I'm curious if there's any like crossover between those groups of folks. Obviously we know that war ends also if you played Valkyria Chronicles 1. Like, I guess like even in that demo, they're like, it was the greatest war. And like the boss from fucking Catherine is narrating, it's the greatest war that Europa has ever seen. It's like, oh, okay. So I'm curious like how it goes about that. So it seems good. I like I said, my only concern is that it's too samey. Question for you, because there's only literally one difference between Valkyria Chronicles 1 and that game, which is that for listeners, like you have this thing called command points, and you get like a very small amount per turn, like 4 or 5 command points per turn, and you use a command point to use a unit, like give it a turn pretty much. You can use command points on the same unit back to back to back with like slightly diminishing returns from that one unit, or on different units. The big difference was using a tank in Valkyria Chronicles 1 costs 2 command points because it's a fucking tank. But in this demo, it costs 1, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some tank abuse in my future. But also, Valkyria Chronicles 1 is a difficult video game. So maybe they're kind of up in the ante with that. So who knows? I thought that was cool.
Indeed.
But yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 1's good, right?
Yeah, it's still great. It's still just as good as I remember it, and more. I really enjoy the characters. I really enjoy some of the drama that happens. I just got the what's his name? Zach, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Zaak.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just joined my party and like going through his whole stuff with like him being in a concentration camp with all their dark sins, and then like pretty much after they succeeded their mission, the employees of the forces got pissed off about it, and it's like pretty much burnt the entire concentration camp. So it's like, oh wow, that's dark. And then let's all go to a beach party right after that.
Yeah. I love the beach episode in that
Yeah, the
game.
beach episode's
Right?
real
It's
good.
so good though. It's like fuck, and it is, to be fair, it is like a optional thing, but
It totally is, and like I was just trying to say that as somewhat as a joke, but like yeah, like
but also it's great.
yeah, but yeah, I love that game.
That's
so much.
I don't know, I know, like, not necessarily your forte, but in my opinion, it's one of, if not the best war stories in video games.
Is it really?
In my opinion, I feel like it. You know, it is anime. It's like an anime story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, obviously, there's like that very emotional moment that happens, like 2/3 ish into the game. I think it really encapsulates like the horror of war in a way that isn't like graphic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like impactful, like racism, concentration camps, oppression, death. Like I think it does a really good job.
Yeah. Like there's even that scene in the game where like just a random soldier just comes by from the impulsive forces to like Welkin and Elise.
Yeah.
And, like he was pretty much dying in their hands, and like he was crying for his mother, and like Elise just held his hand and just like let him lay to rest as he was like passing away. And they buried him, and then like pretty much his commander came by like the next day or something just to like to see what happened to him. He saw Welkin and Elise who aren't armed or anything like that. They were just like they stranded from their group. And like it's like, did you bury my guy? And he's like, yeah, like he was dying, and like we just had to comfort him. He's still a human, and like we're both all human, so like we just happened to be in this shitty situation. And he's like, he respected them, he let them go. And it's like, we'll meet you in the battlefield because like this is what we're doing, but like thank you for what you did anyway. So like so powerful stuff.
It's like, it is surprisingly poignant, and it's like, I mean, it's easy to dismiss it because like you go from one scene where fucking what's his face is like talking about how veggies are the most important thing.
Largo.
Yeah, and then you go to a scene like that, like back to back in a lot of cases, it feels like that, like the beach scene or whatever. But it's tactful and respectful, and it's just done very well, I think. So Valkyrie Chronicles is a phenomenal game. Now I'm getting excited. I'm getting hyped again thinking about it. Really excited to see like a different front of that war in Valkyrie Chronicles 4. So cool. What else have you been playing?
Sorry, I had to ask Alex a question.
You're good.
I got Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Just because. Played a little bit of it out. That game's still good. I still like that game a lot. For the Switch, I should add. Even though I have it on Wii U, I got on Switch just because
Because you love that game, dude.
I do like that game.
Don't apologize to these selfish listeners that are judging you.
But like, I will say, you know, I like the game a lot, and it's jolly, and it's like it's just a good game for what it is. Like, as far as like how it was aged, it's like I guess around the time when it came out, it was like it was just like that was like a good year for the Wii U, with like games after game after game after game, when I was like really enjoying my Wii U, and that was like one of the highlights of that year was that game. I think it was that and Bayonetta 2 and a whole bunch of other stuff. I think Smash came out that year as well. But it was like a killer year. And that was like one of my highlight games. And one of the games I really did love. But just playing it now, I was like, oh yeah, this game is still fun and jolly. But like, it's kind of like I don't need to play it again. Even though I am still enjoying it, but like it's something to play when like something else is on TV or whatever. Like I was playing that game while I was watching Lego Batman. So like
it's not
a
full focus kind of game.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good game. Probably a little bit too expensive now for what it is. Even though it's like $40, that's still kind of too much for what it is. But like, it's an enjoyable game. It's a polished game. It's a good looking game. It's a fun game. I recommend it. Just you know, it's a bit of a hefty price.
Yeah, I feel like 30 would have been perfect for it. Like, obviously, 20 is ideal, but 30 is like that sweet spot for a lot of stuff, I think. But yeah, have you gotten any of the new levels yet?
No, I think it's way later on in the game.
Cool. I imagine they're probably at the end, but what do I know? Cool. Anything else you've been playing?
A
You
little
know
bit
what I
more.
want.
Yeah, this is a little bit more of a Final Fantasy VII. I didn't play too much this week, unfortunately, because I work in other bullshit. But um, I literally stopped where it got to when he got on the motorcycle. Like that's like a weird distant memory in my mind of like something I remember from seeing from like going to other people's places who were playing Final Fantasy VII was like the motorcycle part, but like I remembered it looking better. Like I
We
don't
all
remember
do.
I don't remember it looking like that. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, is this Final Fantasy VII where it's like, um, there's like a giant like monster that like slowly walking to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Final Fantasy VII.
That is Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, like I know there's a scene of that later on, but I can't really remember what it was or how it even plays out or what perspective you're looking at. But like, I just remember like a giant monster just like walking towards the screen. And, like,
Yeah, so you saw like that first CG cutscene.
Of the game, yeah.
Yeah, where they're all like getting in the car. That music though, at that part is so good, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the music in the game so far?
There's a lot of ones that like that I really like.
That boss music. It's so good. Oh.
Like I think it's like the stressed out music or whatever, but like
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
like,
When the timer, when anytime a timer is on screen.
I guess like I like that music as well. But yeah, I'm still slowly getting through it. I gotta like
You're
put my nose to
You're
the grindstone.
so close
now.
to getting out of Midgard, dude. I'm so fucking excited. I feel like for me, because it's been a while since we talked about this, but the JRPG hump of 7 is getting through Midgar.
Okay.
And once you're out of there, it just moves. I imagine it'll be much harder to put down after that point.
I mean, like I've already got past the hump of that game. I felt like I said, like the biggest hump for that game was finding out what to do right after you meet Aerith. that was the hump
for you,
for years.
But like in the grand spans of that game's like total front to back, I think it's getting through Midgar.
Okay.
Personally, I'm excited for you. Did you do the mini game? The bicycle mini game?
That's like literally where I stopped. I had to go somewhere, but like I don't know how that plays or anything like that. But like I remember it looking cool back then, but I don't know. I don't know how it is.
Yeah, cool, man. That game's great.
Yeah, I'm really liking. Like I'm liking it, but like it's so many weird things. Like the way that game just constantly changes looks. It's like Teen Titans Go.
There's
there's
like
changing the
14
animation like
different
so many
art styles.
times.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah, for the most part, I think it kind of generally stays in like there's like 4 looks, right? There's like the CG cutscenes, which are very infrequent, so they don't happen that often. The moments that they do happen are fucking good, though. I'll let you know. Like that infamous like Sephiroth walking out in the fire, all there. Like you've not even met Sephiroth yet.
No, I just saw his sword and then mentioned Sephiroth and like if I didn't know who he was already, like I wouldn't. It's like they just mentioned him by name and like constantly. It's like, but like there's no scene with him yet, so that's weird.
Is that cool though? How they, Sephiroth is obviously so well known, but like you're hours into this game, you still haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, I guess he's like a Baltimore type of thing. So like I wouldn't know.
Yeah, very very much akin to that. But yeah, there's like the CG scenes. There's like the half CG scenes where it's kind of like using CG in the pre-rendered backgrounds while you're still Popeyeing around. And then there's like the slightly lower res Popeye scenes, which are only really in the mini games. So like the motorcycle thing and whatnot. And then there's like just the way it normally looks, still pre-rendered backgrounds and Popeyes. So yeah, dude, I'm glad. It warms my heart to hear that you were at least enjoying your time with that game. You're not too deep into it. How do you feel about Materia?
Yeah, I'm not too deep in like how it actually works, or like I know there's multiple parts to it. I know there's like multiple beats in like one specific slot, but like I don't know if like you can mix them together or anything like that. I don't quite understand it yet. That's just
To give you just like some hints, because I think they already gave you the tutorial, which sucks. They kind of really graze over it. There's like that dude that's working out in that one house that you can go into, and he'll explain it to you. But like there are, I think, 4 or 5 types, right? Green is like obviously magic. Keep in mind each materia will also give you stat boosts,
right.
and also sometimes take away stat boosts. So like green materia typically increases your MP and increases your magic attack, even if it's not necessarily attack materia. So the idea, so blue materia is always to be paired with other materia, right? Blue materia is complementary materia, so like all elemental things like that. So in your weapons, when you look at it and it has like 2 slots that are like joined together, if you put blue materia in one and green materia in another, for example, it will apply that effect to it. So like, for example, you have cure in one slot and all in another, you can now cast cure on your entire party, right?
Okay.
And that's like kind of the only way to do it, right?
Okay.
You want to, for the most part, you want to have as much materia equipped as possible, because materia also gains experience and levels and upgrades itself as you do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, as you fight. So like you'll not probably have to do this, but like if you ever want to get like tons and tons of money, the easiest way to go about doing that is to like, so when materia like levels up by star rank, so like all, for example, the blue all materia has 5 stars, like that's its max rank. When it hits 5 stars, when you level it up all the way to max, one, you can cast on multiple targets as many times as you want, like it won't limit you anymore. But it also births a new materia, like, so if you level up all to max level, it creates a new level 1 all materia. It like generates another one for free. So like there's a trick to like grinding out materia where you just grind a bunch of all materia and then sell max level materia because it's worth like 1.3 million gil or gold or whatever the fuck that game uses. That's generally how it. So like yellow materia is pretty much always by itself, and it's always like a special. It's an extra command in your menu. Red materia is a summon, always a summon. Green materia is some kind of magic. Blue materia is complementary, where it adds something to another type of materia, and purple is always like stat based, or it can always pretty much be by itself. So that's pretty much it. You probably haven't even got any purple materia yet.
I have just the like clouds like guard all. So like
Yes. So he'll like go and auto guard attacks to his allies.
Yes.
So that's good if he's like loaded up with materia that gives him a ton of HP, because then he can help protect his allies. But yeah, so like, you know, filling out those slots can sometimes be a little bit detrimental to your stats, but you're leveling up all this materia, and that's good. There is one materia called enemy skill. You probably have gotten that. I think you get one somewhere in Midgar. So basically, that materia, the way it works is certain enemy skills you can learn from enemies if they do it on you. So like there's like one pretty early on that's like a missile attack that like shoots rockets at everybody. And if you have the enemy skill materia equipped and an enemy hits you with that, you learn that skill, and then you can do it back as many times as you want from then on. And it costs MP, but you can do it. It's pretty like I like materia a ton because I think it's pretty simple. It's like this does this pairs with this, and this does summons. And that's pretty much it. Like it doesn't really get any more complicated than what I just explained to you, which I know is a lot, but
Yeah.
the only one that is weird, that took me a while to kind of figure out, is the elemental material. It's a blue materia blue materia has to pair with another, like a green materia typically. And if you put it on your weapon, so let's say you have elemental, you slot it into a weapon slot and you pair it with poison, right? Which you can cast poison. So if you put that in your weapon slot, it will add the elemental effect of poison to your physical attacks, which is really cool, but like it doesn't really explain that super well. And if you put it in your armor slot, it will protect you against poison attacks. So that's the only one that's that complicated. That and the enemy skill one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So play around with them. Like they do have like little descriptions for each of them, but generally it's relatively straightforward. So like a lot of the early weapons have like slots that are unattached. Like they don't have a complementary one, so you can't like really pair blue stuff with it. But I would still say like if you have extra all materia or whatever slotted in there, like fill it up just so you can level up those materia and get better with them. So like all especially is super important. All and cure, like so you like cure, for example, the heal materia, like when it levels up you get, so you start with cure. When it levels up you get cure 2. When it levels up to level 3 you get regen, which basically is it heals you over time. And then when it levels up to max level you get cure 3, which is the most cure. This is pre-Curaga, Cura, Firaga, Fira.
Okay.
This is OG Fire 2, Fire 3, man. Which I also like. I'm a nostalgic kind of guy. So, but yeah, so you could, if you see Fire 2 and you're like, what the fuck does the sequel to Fire do? It's Fira.
The sequel to Fire.
The sequel to Fire. Fire 2, this time it's personal, you know. It's to translate it to modern terms, it is Fira, and then Fire 3 is Firaga. So that's what that means. And there's a ton of like what's cool is like the green materia, so all the spells that you get new ones like 20 hours into the game that you still haven't seen yet. Like the earth materia that lets you cast Quake 2 and Quake 3, you don't get until you're like 20 hours in, which is cool. So you keep learning spells and stuff, and that's cool. I like to have a dedicated healer and a dedicated caster, and then any of my like offensive or attack based materia on a dedicated attacker. So usually I would do Tifa's the healer, Cloud's the magic attacker, and Barret is the physical attacker. Early on, that was the team that I used a lot. So because their stats are good for it. So there you go.
Okay.
There's your Final Fantasy VII Simply Mechanics article. But yeah, it's not too complicated, but if you have questions, let me know.
Yeah, totally.
Anything else you've been playing?
I didn't put it on here, but like I did like I don't know, I had Final Fantasy on the brain, so like I fired up the opening of like Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2.
Okay.
Because I remember 10-2's opening, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll see this idle Japanese pop thing. Like that's pretty funny and cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just looked at the opening of Final Fantasy 10 like before you hit the start screen. No, not that far. Not that far. I just looked at the opening cutscene of it because like they always have these opening cinematic cutscenes, and it's like, oh yeah, this does look. It looks pretty for like what they did for that upgrade. Like they actually did work on that HD collection apparently. So and I said, oh wow, it actually looks really good. So like I don't know. I was just looking at them. I don't really intend to play them. I seen the end of 10 randomly when I was at a party with my friends, and like I said, the only thing I've ever seen of 10-2 was just the opening part of it, which is like, oh yeah, that's cool.
I've only seen the first 2 hours of Final Fantasy X and the ending. So I feel you. What a weird game.
It is.
Blitzball, man.
Yeah.
Aqua soccer, as I like to think of it as.
I gotta remember, like, I remember when Mark got into that game, like when it first came out and stuff like that, and like he was like so determined to get like Bahamut, the summon for that game, and like at the time he just couldn't figure out how to do it, and then like one of my other friends, Marcus, like he borrowed that game. I think he accidentally deleted his save file.
Oh,
So like he's like, and then Mark was like, I'll never play that game again. So
Yep.
like, so
thanks for burning that bridge for me, you monster.
So yeah, that was something. But other than that though, like probably the big game I've been playing, other than like a bunch of fighting games, and I don't need to mention here. I'll probably talk about it when we talk about Evo. Is Overcooked 2. I've been playing that.
I meant to talk about this and be like, yo, who's playing this?
Nabashin's playing it, as it turns out.
That's why it's under my name under games.
Man, you know I don't open that until we do titles.
And now everyone listening knows. They knew
That's right.
before, really, but now they know. Does that have online co-op?
Yeah, it does in this one. Yes.
You know who also is playing Overcooked 2?
Who?
Joseph Fate.
Hell yeah.
He added me on Twitter. He's like, get Overcooked 2 on Xbox. I thought about it.
He added you on Twitter?
Added me. Replied.
Oh, added. Oh.
God, you're off Twitter for 2 weeks and you already don't know what the fuck anything
It's been almost a goddamn month,
I
dude.
know,
I've been doing good.
I'm teasing.
Other than my constant loneliness. But like Overcooked 2 is pretty good. Actually, it's really fun. It's super fun. I've been really enjoying it.
Are you playing solo?
Hell no. You can't play that game solo.
Joey Noelle is playing that game solo.
I know she is.
She's crazy.
But like this is like only the one of the few.
The
ones
one multiplayer game you'll fucking play.
I have one a year apparently. But like and with the first Overcooked, me and my friend Katie, like we got into that when we like when we played that game, it was like, you know, like 3 stars every level, and we're now moving on to get 3 stars, and then like we got all the way to like we went to space in the first game, and then like we stopped for some reason. We never just went back to it. So like when Overcooked 2 was about to come out, like I just let her know like, hey, like Overcooked 2 and like question mark, and she was like, oh fuck yeah, we're doing this, and like you know, like I'm ready for this anxiety again. She says like, yeah, sure, let's get into it. So like I guess our group now, because now I'm at 4 players now, so it's like it's me, Katie, the BK Value Meal that we call ourselves as a group team.
I love that. I love that very much.
Her boyfriend and our friend Patrick, and so like all 4 of us are playing that game together, and like we pre-trained her boyfriend to like how to like to play the first Overcooked, so like her and him are going through the first game by themselves. Again, just like from the beginning, so like he could get the gist of it, and then like then we all got together, started playing Overcooked 2, and like we were just having a blast playing that. We didn't get too far. We got to like maybe like the 3rd chapter of it, but like we've been enjoying it. 3 stars every level. We don't move on until we get 3 stars, and like yeah, it's still intense. It's still fun. It's still wacky as it always is. You could throw.
Okay, I wasn't the only one.
I was like, is it just me that lost him?
Maybe his internet went out. How are you feeling, Tony?
Feeling great.
You want to play Overcooked?
I would be down.
Here's the thing. I never got to play Overcooked 1.
Hella fun, dude.
It seems fun. We should do it during Extra Life this year.
Yeah.
Add it to the schedule.
Are we back?
Hey, Namashin.
Hi. Hello?
Hi. Yes, hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We just lose you for a second there.
I mean, I was here. It's still recording. Everything's fine. So
It's just internet.
Discord, I guess.
Discord. We lost you right at the somewhere in the Overcooked. I think you just said the word "it's me," and then it cut out.
Yeah, you were about to say dat boy.
I don't know what I was even talking about anymore, but like the levels change, it gets crazy, and yeah, that game's so fun.
Cool. It seems really fun. I watched the party mode of Overcooked. It's it seems good. Seems like a fun time. Is that all you've been playing?
Yeah, for the most part, like this miscellaneous stuff, like
Dragon
Gravity,
Ball and stuff.
Gravity Rush 2 and Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Vegeta and Goku got on that game again.
How
like
are they?
The 14th time.
Goku number 26.
Yeah,
Goku
but,
Prime.
but he's really good though. Yeah. Other than that, like nothing else really.
Cool. You excited about Cooler?
Dude, that game is so good. Like every character that goes in there, and it's just another new fun thing to learn and figure out the puzzle, how to do combos with and stuff like that. It's so much fun.
It seems cool because we'll talk about it in a little bit. I did watch the only thing I watched from Evo is Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which again we will gush momentarily, but it seems cool. I like that they made Android 16 like a really viable, good character. So yeah, I see what you mean. I just can't get behind Broly in any context. I'm sorry, guys. I know they're making Broly canon and whatever, but
like, it's still a movie, but sure.
Yeah, but like, he just looks dumb.
Just picture him naked; it'll make you less nervous.
No, he is. The thing is, in the Broly movie, you do see Broly naked.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little
should remember that
anime penis.
He's a literal man, baby.
Yeah, he is. He's got the mind of a baby.
Well, that's good.
I was gonna say the child of a baby. I don't know why I was gonna say that. How about Nabashin, if that's all you've been playing that you want to talk about? What if we took a quick break? And when we come back, I can talk about some video games, and we'll talk about some news. We'll answer some questions, make some bets, throw it out. If that sounds good, let's do it. With that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll do all those things in a moment. We will be back in just a little bit.
Shoot.
They talk about reviews on that. I want to hear your takes on that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna probably watch it tonight, so we're back, everyone. About to get back into the show. I hope Nicole, where you're watching, you've gotten a fresh glass of wine, situated and ready. And we're back. Welcome back, guys.
You welcome back.
Thank you.
No, you welcome back.
I played some video games this week. I finished Chasm. Chasm is a video game. Maryland
Quick.
developed game. It's pretty short. I like plowed through it though. It took me I think 9 hours to beat, so it's not like too short. I really liked it. It's cool. I feel like Chasm's just getting shat on left and right in the month of Metroidvanias, right? That is August 2018. I worry that it might be like at the bottom rung. And maybe it's not the best of all of them, but I really enjoyed my time with it. For reference, like Dead Cells came out this week, which I also played. I'll talk about in a moment. Guacamelee 2, I think, comes out next week. And then Death's Gambit finally is coming out the week after that. So, and to be fair, like both those games are great, or look great. I played Death's Gambit at an event at PAX East 2016, I think is when I played it. And it's really cool. Very excited about it. But yeah, I don't know. Chasm's really good. It is like, like I said last week, it is very much more on the Castlevania side of things as far as moment-to-moment gameplay. But the way exploration works is much more Metroid-like. It's pretty short. It's pretty straightforward. I think like the big thing that, like I know Patrick Klepek wrote a piece on Waypoint about it, and it did nothing for him apparently. His big thing was like it's random. It is a procedurally generated Metroidvania, right? Like the order of things you do is the same every time, I believe. Like you get this ability, then you go to like the jungle world, and then you get this ability, and then you go to like the temple world or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Like the beats are in the same order every time, but the world itself is procedurally generated around it. And I'll say like the where that is kind of a bummer is like there's a lot of just long hallways where you're just fighting dudes, like it's not super interesting. But they're also like I wish there were more of them, but they're cool like puzzle rooms, constructed rooms where you have to like move blocks around and like platform and do different more skill-based things that don't necessarily involve fighting. But a lot of this game is just like walking through hallways and fighting. In defense of that, like I think a lot of Symphony of the Night, is like that as well. And this game takes, I think, most of its inspiration from Symphony of the Night. But maybe I'll say, having played both, I had never finished Symphony of the Night, but it was definitely well constructed. It was like very smartly put together, and it's well paced in its like platforming versus upgrade versus combat versus whatever. So I don't know. It's not perfect, but I had a really great time with it, and I think it was really fun. And I think if you like Metroidvanias that lean more to the Castlevania end of things, which I feel like there have not been a lot of those games recently. Definitely plenty of Metroid likes, with Metroid Samus Returns last year, and Hollow Knight is very Metroid like. I think if you're craving something to scratch that Castlevania like DS itch or games like that, I think this is a good fit. And I had a good time with it. So again, nothing to blow my hair back, but I think it is worth playing. Leveling up and all that, the grind, the weapons. I will say, like, I wish there was more weapon variety as well. Like, I ended up just using the short sword for the most part because I really liked how it felt. There's like a broadsword that's like an overhead attack, so it can get a little bit behind you, above you, and in front of you, kind of like the whip in Spelunky. There's also, it's a lot slower though. There's also like clubs and maces that are similar but a little bit different. And there is a whip in the game, and it feels great, but I never got like a strong enough whip to use. I think all the weapon drops are random as well. I really wish I did though, because the whip feels fucking good. And there's a spear that is like fine. It's a little too slow, but it was also fine. Overall, like, you know, it's good. I think it's on Vita too. I think it's Vita, PS4. I'm not positive on that, but I think it would fit right at home on Vita. I really wish it was on Switch. I know. Don't stop me if you've heard that before, but it's good. $20, it's worth it. I think it's a fun time. I think I talked about it last week. I've been replaying Darksiders. I finished Darksiders 1 over the weekend. That game's good. I really like that game. There's like this part at the end of it where you have to go collect 7 things, and it's like, it's very much like the same reason I really don't like the last act of Wind Waker is like, you have to go collect these 7 things. But at the very least, Wind Waker has like a vibrant and fun and exciting world to explore because you're out on the ocean doing whatever. Darksiders doesn't. Darksiders 1 doesn't really. Because at that point, you would kind of walk through the critical path in every area, and there's not much else to see, I'll say. There are some cool moments, like cool secrets in that game, but there are not enough to justify having to go back to each and every area. It's been a while since I replayed Darksiders. The end of that game is still fucking rad. I'm not sure if you remember how that game, or if you even know how that game ends. But
No.
It's fucking cool. I guess I won't spoil it because people might be replaying the Darksiders games to get ready for 3, but it's still good. They still have not lived up to the promise of the end of that game, though, unfortunately. But after I finished Darksiders, I started Darksiders 2, and I've been playing that, the Definitive Edition. A big part of this is, like, you know, both games are on Xbox Game Pass. And I want to take a moment. Shout out to Xbox Game Pass. Like, you know, we've talked about it before, but, like, it is probably the best video game service I've ever used. Hands down. Because the way, obviously, for folks that don't know, over 100 games available to you at any time. You can download them anytime, blah, blah, blah. But the way it works is, like, when on Xbox One, you go to My Games and Apps, and there's, like, available to install games, and it's, like, your whole library, and games you have installed, or the most recent updated games. And then, if you have Game Pass, or games with gold, like, there's the subscription tab. You go down to that, it'll tell you what games with gold are available right now, so you can grab those. And it'll say, open up the Xbox Game Pass library, and it'll just show you all the games right there, and you can just click, download. And it's fucking cool. I've downloaded like 40 games to my Xbox One. I will play maybe 4 of them, but it is cool that I can do that. I know there is a little bit of diminishing returns for some of those games, unfortunately, but I don't know. It's a cool idea. It's a cool service. And it works well. Like, it's a good interface, just laying out these 100+ games. And you can organize, like, games that were just added, games added this month, or most recent additions, and it'll just go in order of, like, the day they were added. So, like, just today, so QuakeCon is this weekend, just today they added Rage and Doom 2016 to Game Pass. And it's like, fuck, man, that's so cool. Like, I might download Doom and play some tonight because that Doom Eternal demo that they showed at QuakeCon is fucking lit. So yeah, I don't know. I wanted to speak praise at something I thought was really good, and Xbox Game Pass is really good. Have you tried it all, Option? I know you did the 14-day trial, right?
No, I never did. I'm actually just waiting for, like,
That one thing.
Yeah, the one thing that was like, oh yeah, it's still I can actually get the value that I want out of it because like you, like I would download almost everything and just like only just like one or two things. So like I'm always for that one or two thing that I really want to play. Like I don't know, like something stupid like Alpha Protocol or something like that. I don't
Hell
know.
yeah. Or what's it? What's that other one? The cyborg game, big bow in it.
Oh, binary domain.
Binary domain. Throw that up there, in Game Pass. I do like they also have like because they have like 20 different categorizations in Game Pass, like depending because there's a lot of games. There's like 112 games on it or something. And so if you wanted to like break down by genre or if you wanted to break it down by console, so like original Xbox 360 and Xbox One games, you can do that. So they give you a lot of choices to just organize them, and I appreciate that.
You don't have Xbox games on there, do they?
Original Xbox games, yeah, they do.
Yeah. Okay.
They got KOTOR on there, which again, one of the games that I downloaded. I've never played KOTOR. I probably never
That'd
will.
be something I'd play.
Yeah, right. So it's like, but it's a thing of like, I would not be replaying Darksiders without Game Pass, honestly. But I'm glad I am because it is getting me like, oh fuck, like I really like these games, and I totally forgot how much I liked parts of Darksiders 2. It has issues, but I really like Darksiders 1. I enjoy a lot about Darksiders 2. And I'm excited for 3. Like, it's getting me hyped for 3 again, which is nice. I was, like, lukewarm, but now I'm all warmed up. But, yeah, Darksiders 2 it's fine. I think the most depressing criticism I can lodge against Darksiders 2 is that it just is kind of dull for a lot of it. And that's a bummer. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, I think the combat is good. It feels good. They definitely went more in a Devil May Cry-esque direction. Like, they encourage you to... You have, like, a heavy weapon, or, like, you have secondary weapon and your primary weapon, like, primary weapon being these two short sides. And then your secondary weapon, either the shitty part is it's either, like, gauntlets or a big hammer-like thing. So it's, like, mace, glaive, hammer, club. They're all the same thing, same animation, same weight. Or gauntlet, fists, knuckles, hand blades. And again, they're all the same thing. So, you know, you can say, oh, there's 10 different kinds of secondary weapons, but like really there's 2. But they encourage like alternating between the 2 weapon types mid combo, and like they'll cancel into each other in different ways, and it's very dodge based instead of guard based. Like Darksiders 1 has a block and a parry, whereas Darksiders 2 has a timed evade and an auto attack if you evade with the right timing. So, you know, they went in kind of different directions. I don't know where Darksiders 3 falls into that. I've watched some gameplay of it, but I still am not quite sure. Because, like, the primary weapon in that game is a whip, which is cool, but, again, I'm not sure how that plays out. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, there are a lot of optional dungeons, quote-unquote, in Darksiders 2. And while they're well-constructed, and I like that a lot of Darksiders 2 is, like, very Prince of Persia-esque. It's a lot of, like, running along walls and platforming in ways of, like, jumping from vertical pull to running walls, and like then using like this hookshot item to kind of like pull yourself towards like a retract point and then continue running along walls or things like that. It's just there's a lot of that, and then some puzzles that aren't very good or at least very challenging, and then combat, and there's just not much more to it, and it just gets very samey pretty early on. You know, I'm about 10 hours into Darksiders 2. What's cool is it's like, you know, they're big open areas. Like the first world is this world, the Maker's world, right? And the Makers are a race in that universe, right? They're these big, they're kind of like giant dwarves, weirdly enough. And they're like big, like big proportioned humans. Like Death is he's a little bit he's bigger than a human, and the Makers are much bigger than Death. And so like they have these big temples and constructs and these kind of like golem-like machines, and they're cool. And then the second world is the land of the dead, and it's a lot of ghosts and ghostly figures and things like that. But I don't know, it's just the moment-to-moment stuff is still like running along walls, slashing dudes in, and then some puzzles. It's kind of a bummer. Like in that whole first world, right? You only ever really get like one like Zelda item, right? Whereas in Darksiders 1, there are 4 dungeons pretty much, and in each dungeon you get one Zelda-like item, right? And it's contextual and it fits in the dungeon and yada yada. But like you go through in Darksiders 2 in that first world, you go through like 6 or 7 mini dungeons or smaller dungeons, and then you get into the big final dungeon that kind of leads into the final boss. And in that final dungeon is when you get like the Death's Grip, which is like the hook shot. And it's just like they're well constructed. I appreciate them. The level design really good. The world design is gorgeous. The game looks phenomenal, I will say. Especially on Xbox One X. I know there's some upscaling that they do in that game on the X. And it's not like native 4K or anything, but like it looks very good. The textures look very good. The draw distance is very good. Things like that. But it's just, again, a little dull, and that's kind of a bummer. It's a bummer to have to, or to be able to say that about that game, because I feel like if the combat, like the hits felt better and the platforming was way more varied than just run along wall, jump, like jump up between platforms and stuff, like it would be a way more interesting game. And I know, like, I vaguely remember some of the stuff toward the end of the game that gets more complicated and gets more interesting, but it never quite hits its stride, I don't think. And I remember the final boss of that game being super anticlimactic, which is also a bummer. The story is really good. I'll say that. Like, the world building, the story, the races, and the characters. Like, the universe of Darksiders is very, very cool. And they definitely build out the universe way more in Darksiders 2 than they did in the first one. Like, what are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? Well, they're like this race called the Nephilim, which are like half angel, half demon. And those are like the 2 warring races of all eternity. And the third race is man, but there's like this 4th race, the Nephilim. And the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are the only 4 Nephilim left alive because they killed all of the other Nephilim for the sake of quote-unquote balance. And it's like, wow, that's like a really cool story. And they lean into like the kind of moral gray area of that choice that they made to kind of betray their kind, and Death is like the leader of the 4 horsemen. So like he kind of made that choice for them, but his siblings like supported him in that. So like again, like the story stuff they do in that game is cool. I just wish playing it was less dull. But at the very least, it is fun. It's just has moments where it drags. And the other thing I played this week is Dead Cells, which is awesome. Dead Cells is very cool. I've not played a lot of it. I've probably played maybe an hour. I got it on Switch. For folks who don't know, Dead Cells is a roguelite, Lite, Metroidvania. And another game that reminds me a lot of Rogue Legacy, weirdly enough. In fact, I would say, I'm trying to remember what the other game I said was a lot like Rogue Legacy. A couple weeks ago I said something was a lot like Rogue Legacy. Moonlighter, I think is a lot like Rogue Legacy. I think this is even more like Rogue Legacy, in that it's very, very much you start at the very, very beginning every time you die. Like it is a straight up roguelike in that regard. Like you die, complete game over. You're starting the whole run over. And in this case, it's the permanence isn't like, oh, I beat this boss is beat forever, and like the kind of skill tree upgrades. You are there are multiple currencies you collect in that game. So you're going through. It's a Metroidvania in that there's the Metroidvania map. The same map that you would expect from Super Metroid or something like that. It's different every time. It's also very silly. It's got a good sense of humor. And you are getting kind of weapons and abilities that you're going to lose at the end of the day, at the end of the run. But by purchasing those weapons or abilities, like you unlock them in your kind of like, what's the word? Like a lexicon, I guess. And some you can get blueprints that you can turn in to then like, okay, now this can appear in shops for you and stuff like that. But there are also like Metroid style abilities that you get. Like for example, the only one I've gotten so far, and it's like, hey, this is a permanent upgrade. You can now do this ability. Is like if you find there's sometimes like vines like on the ground and it says like tickle the vines. Well, now when I tickle them, it creates like a vine ladder that I can climb up and reach new areas. I got that at some point, and now I can do that on every run from the very beginning. So in the first kind of area, I was running into a lot of those, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do with these. But now I got far enough, and I died, got sent back to the beginning, going through again. It's like, oh, I can reach all these new areas and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. Outside of that, it is an action platformer, so it's very fast-paced action. Like you start with a sword. It's quick combo attacks, dodging, dodge rolls, timed dodging, things like that. It feels really good. Tony, I think this game you would really jive with, honestly. It's on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. It was in early access for a year. I know it went into early access last year, and it just fully released this week. It's cool. Like it's got a cool art style. It's got a cool sense of humor. I'm not giving the art style enough credit. The sprite work in this game is phenomenal. It reminds me specifically, and Nabish, I know you'll get this. It reminds me of Ghost Trick, like 2D sprites that have like this weird kind of 3D look to them, and they have kind of like a depth and shape to them. They look like polygons, and it's awesome. Looks phenomenal, and it runs well even on Switch. It probably chugs on Switch a little more than it. I bet it doesn't chug at all on PS4 or Xbox. I don't know for sure, but I've definitely hit just a couple of hitches here and there. Not really frame rate drops, but just like it'll hitch for a second and then catch up. But still, for the most part, it runs at a smooth 60. So that's cool. But yeah, Dead Cells is really, really good. I know Jarrett. It's basically Jarrett's fucking game of the year so far.
It was Jason's game of the year last year.
Yeah, that's right. I remember Jason loved this game. It's very good. Like I said, I haven't played that much of it. It's kind of like a nibble on it kind of game. Like you play it in 30-minute chunks. It is more along the lines of that. But it's cool. It just goes fast, like some of the cool things about it, like it lending itself to its own pace is like, for example, there are doors that you'll encounter on runs that have like timers on them, and it's like I've not gotten to them in time yet, but it's like, oh, if you had gotten to this door only 2 minutes and 10 seconds into your run, you would have been able to go through it, but you took too long, so now you can't access this area. And there's like usually a bunch of really good loot behind them and stuff like that. So it like encourages you to play fast, think fast, act fast, and just keep going, never stop.
Channel Ricky Bobby.
Exactly. It's fun, looks good, plays good, music's good. I've had a good time with it so far. Excited to play more. I know Jarrett is reviewing it for us, and I do not believe he intends on copying the review from somewhere else. So I'll keep you all posted.
Are you
on that.
sure? Sure, there's no other obscure black reviewer on YouTube that you can just like copy all this stuff on.
Yeah, we're coming for you. I almost said Game Explain, but no. They're probably all white.
Random, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of the Coalition. Yeah. He's going to just murder off the Coalition. No. I'm sorry. That was a poor joke. A joke in poor taste, but yeah, I know Jarrett is a huge advocate for that game. I'm upset because Jarrett says Hollow Knight has bullshit checkpoints, but I'm sure Jarrett fucking loves this game. It's just like, well, this game doesn't even have checkpoints. I'm just sitting over here being salty. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I think that's it. I feel like every time I'm like, I fucking forgot something. I don't know what it is. Nabashin, you stalk all the games I play. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I didn't stalk you this week. Sorry.
Damn.
I've been too busy.
It's all right, man. I understand. Got to play Final Fantasy VII, man. The clock's ticking.
It's all right, dude. It's okay if you just lose the bet by one day, but still finish the game. You know.
Yeah, I want to see you in that Cloud Strife wig. I'll pick out a good one for you too.
Yeah, you do need to find one just in case.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever try State of Decay 2?
I haven't downloaded. Again, Game Pass downloaded like 40 games. This game that I really wanted to play, I've not touched yet.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm a little intimidated by it. I know it has like a very long tutorial. That's the thing. So, but yeah, I finished Tales of Vesperia, so maybe I've really burned my bridges. So I should shape up and get in on that. But how about we take a quick diversion into a land that has a lot of information in regards to news. That's professional stalling right there. Let's talk about some news. News in gaming. Evo happened over the weekend. I forgot there was actually another podcast I was on. We recorded it while Evo was happening. I was on Show Me Your News, hosted by Peter Spezia. Actually, fun fact, Show Me Your News in its original iteration was the first ever video game podcast I ever listened to as a young lad. It is a Super Smash Brothers podcast. At the time, it was a Super Smash Brothers Brawl podcast. To take it back, it is currently in a new run as a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate podcast. It was a true and genuine honor to be on that show. Peter is a great dude, a good friend. We're gonna have him on Podcast Ultimate at some point, do the whole podcast shuffle. But while we were recording that, Evo was happening. We actually were recording during the Super Smash Bros. Melee finals. I actually don't know who ended up winning, but I don't know. I have never been huge into watching Melee. But I can tell you, fucking video game I am now huge into watching. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Holy shit, y'all. So yeah, all the Evo finals happened. Were there any big shakeups in the other tournaments, Nabashin?
Tekken was very, very good. Tekken 7.
I'm sad I missed that. I've never really watched Tekken.
I think that was like the other biggest highlight, other than like obviously Street Fighter and Dragon Ball Fighters, but like yeah, Tekken's was amazing. That one was super good.
Yeah.
Who was it? I can't remember his name, but like have an American in third place in that one, and like the rest of them were Koreans in the top 8. So like that guy fought hard to get to where he was at. So like really good shit, man.
And you regularly watch Evo, right, Nabashin?
Yeah, I watch it every year. This is the first time I've been like into it because usually it's just like I just watch the finals the day of the finals and that's it. But like I've been watching it from like since that Friday to
through Sunday.
Yeah, mostly because of Dragon Ball Fighters, but like because I didn't even watch Street Fighter to like the finals of that day. But like yeah, I was like all up in that shit.
It was really you because like we talked about it on last week's episode of like you were saying like, yeah, I'm just watching a bunch of Dragon Ball Fighters. I was like, maybe I should watch the finals for Fighters just because like I've never really watched like hardcore Dragon Ball Fighters action. I was very into it, as you might imagine. Like, to be fair, like the drama aspect of the Fighters final was phenomenal, but Just watching it, man. Just watching people that are very good at that game play that game was very entertaining. It is a spectacle. But yeah, for folks that don't know, Tony, do you know the stuff that happened in the Dragon Ball Fighters tournament?
I'm aware of things that may have happened in the top 8, but I'm only aware of the things that they talked about on the Giant Bombcast.
Do you know who won?
I don't remember the person's name.
My boy Sonic Fox.
Sonic Fox.
That is extremely familiar in my brain.
Yeah, it was cool because, like I'm kind of coming into the narrative here. This is the first Evo I've really watched, but I guess Sonic Fox is pretty infamous at Evo as playing the games that nobody else plays, or like that quote unquote nobody cares about.
I guess, but like he's a very, very good fighting game guy. Like he's
good at like all fighting games
every
right?
year. Yeah.
What are some of the ones? Because he's won tournaments before. What are some of the games that he's won?
God, I had to really think about it. But like he pretty much touches everything. That's the thing. Like about like he touches everything, and like you usually always see his face. Like in one way or another in like the top 8 or like at least around the top in like almost every fight.
I feel like I've heard his name in Melee or one of the Smash Brothers games at some point too. So yeah, again, like I kind of came into it there, but I was like, oh, I was rooting for him just because like hell yeah, an American in the top 8 finally of some fighting game, right? Because typically, Eastern players do tend to win more. Obviously, Daigo the Demon is infamous. I didn't know Daigo was fucking 37 years old either, which is awesome. I know he got knocked out relatively early.
Yeah, Daigo really hasn't won in like years, honestly. But like,
I love that he still competes though.
Oh yeah, he's always there, and like he's another one like
He's a fan
Infiltration
favorite,
and like in Taquito, like they're always there.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool to see. That top 8 was awesome. Kind of came down to like the first finals came down to Sonic Fox and Goichi. Goichi being, I guess, the number 1 Japanese player.
More or less, yeah.
For Dragon Ball Fighters. Is it Fighters or Fighter Z?
It's Fighters.
Okay. I apologize for pronouncing it incorrectly, everyone. But yeah, it kind of came down to them. They've fought before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like the day before, I believe they fought just like I think just for funsies, and like Sonic Fox lost that match, and like came around to beat him this time, and like just like other miscellaneous times like they fought against each other.
Yeah,
it's usually always those two going against each other. Just to say.
It was cool too, and there's so much respect between those two guys. Like seeing them on Twitter and whatnot afterwards. Like Goichi was pissed, but like also he does respect Sonic Fox. But yeah, so like Goichi or Sonic Fox beat Goichi in the finals of the bracket, and then Goichi ended up winning the losers bracket and going back to the grand finals of the winner of the winners bracket versus the winner of the losers bracket. And essentially, I didn't know how the brackets broke out, but like, if for Goichi to win, he had to win 6 matches, and for Sonic Fox to win, he just had to win 3. So in the finals, Sonic Fox beat Goichi 3-0, and then in the first part of the grand finals, the first 3 matches, Goichi beat Sonic Fox 3-0. And then the final 3 matches, Sonic Fox beat Goichi 3-0. And I loved, it was just like, there was no middle ground, right? It was always an extreme one direction or the other. But there were some really great fights. And also twice in these 3 kind of groups of matches, Shenron got summoned. And people lost their fucking minds. I lost my mind.
It literally never happens.
It never happens. Because, like, you have to do the auto combo to get Shenron out, right?
Yes.
And there was just a great moment.
You have to do an auto combo. You have to be like level 7, and then like you have to like do another auto combo for it to actually like have it summoned. So it's a lot of
specific conditions. Yeah, what was great was it was like the last round, or it was the last match in the set, and Goichi was down 2-0. And he was down to his last character, Vegeta, and he summoned Shenron, and instead of bringing back an ally, he healed himself. And everyone was just tweeting out like, yeah, that's canon. Yeah, Vegeta would definitely heal himself and not bring anyone back to life, which is super funny, but also true. It was cool also for me because I've played a very, very minimal amount of Dragon Ball FighterZ. I didn't know about the spark mechanic, which is really cool. But yeah, so like again, they just traded 3 rounds and 3 rounds, and like the sentiment was like, hey, if they sat down and played another 3 rounds, I bet Goichi would have won all 3 of those, and they could have gone back and forth all night. And that was the vibe, and it was just like 2 powerhouses going back to back. It was great tension, great feelings. There was a little bit of drama, like for the final 3 sets. Sonic Fox asked to be set as player 1, and he was tweeting out that it made all the difference and things like that. Classic fighting game shit, I feel. It was good stuff. It is worth seeking out and watching, just to see them fight, because some of those matches, man, are fucking bonkers. But yeah, I was hyped. Like I was like getting worked up. I'm sure you were too, Notion. So
Yeah, I love it.
yeah, but yeah, it was cool. That was the only one that I watched, but it was a fucking awesome tournament. So, was there any? I guess you said Tekken was good. Who won the Street Fighter tournament? Anybody well known?
An American won that one.
Oh wow.
He beat the last year's champions, Takedo. Yeah, and that was like a shock in itself. It's just like yeah, that was a good match. I forget his name, but like yeah, that was like another one that was like really up there. It's Bison against Akuma, and like his Bison won, so it's like, yeah, that's great.
Big part I did not mention, like, you know, bringing up Sonic Fox's lineage at Evo of like him kind of quote unquote playing games that nobody else plays or cares about. Like unquestionably, Dragon Ball FighterZ was like the biggest game at Evo this year. And he won that tournament. It was kind of like his time to shine. It was a good moment. It was a feel-good moment. But the two of them, again, both very good players. I'm excited to see. I will probably tune in next year just to continue that narrative and see how it goes. See those two players going again. But yeah, in addition to Evo's like actual games, there were some announcements alongside it. Tekken 7 announced its next DLC character, which is Negan from The Walking Dead. Which is weird, right? That's weird.
Yes.
And it appears like they just showed like a silhouette of him and said, it's Negan. It was weird that they also like said who it was but didn't show what he looked like in game, right? And it appears to be based on the AMC television version of Negan, so I don't know. It's kind of cool though, I guess. It sets a weird precedent for like live action television character being in Tekken. Like, I guess, you know, to be fair, everything was out the window with Noctis in there. But what have there been other guest characters in Tekken 7?
Tekken 7? He's from King of Fighters.
Yeah, I remember that was cool.
Yeah.
Is this him and Noctis?
Yeah, just him and Noctis, and then obviously Akuma was like mainly in the game
Akuma.
of Tekken 7, so yeah.
But you know, Akuma kind of makes sense. But to be fair, I feel like, I don't know if anyone actually plays Noctis, but I feel like he looks real cool in that game.
Yeah.
In his defense, but yeah, I don't know. It is rad. I know a lot of people were both confused and also excited about it. So who knows? Tekken 7 is Tekken's weird, so fucking I'm all for embracing the weird.
Also, Anna Williams and Lei was announced for that game.
Okay.
Who pretty much did Jackie Chan of that game.
Cool. I assume previous Tekken characters.
Yes.
Cool. Dragon Ball FighterZ. Did they announce like a single player thing, like a story expansion? That's the Saiyans thing.
No.
Okay.
There's like dramatic finishes, and sometimes when you go against like certain characters and do a certain thing, they can have like a little cinematic at the end of them like doing something that's canon from the story.
Yeah, maybe it was just that they were showing off
Yeah, they were.
Goku and Vegeta, regular ass characters. Gotta love Vegeta in the Saiyan armor though, looking good. But the big one is they announced Cooler. You know, all of these characters had leaked a while ago, but got to see Cooler in action. He looks cool.
One character is left is Android 17.
Yep. And then hopefully we'll actually get to see like a season 2 of characters and won't know what they are ahead of time. We'll see.
People data mined it day one, and that's how they found out about those characters. So like that's pretty much what's going to happen again, more or less.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they have a better way of figuring it out, but who knows. It was cool. Cooler looks fun. Blah blah. We talked about the that's it for Evo news. Unless you have anything else you wanted to bring up, Nobshin.
Street Fighter had G and Sagat.
That's right. Is G a new character?
G is the president of the world.
Oh, nice. He does look like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. Like apparently he's supposed to be like somewhat based on Q, who was like a character from Street Fighter 3, but like they're like he has an alternate costume of him as like a Q type of character, but like no one can figure out like what the connection is, and they won't put it in the game to let us know. So like he's just a mystery, really, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Though.
Sagat looks cool. I like his he's got like a little cloak for his Street Fighter 5 design.
And also Soul Calibur 6 had new characters in there also.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I guess. Was Soul Calibur 6 playable there?
It was Maximilian. He did some streams of it. That game was real cool. I'm excited for it.
Just to keep you in the loop, Nabashin, because we are talking about Sagat. Jarrett Green's current Twitter name is Sagat's Missing Eye, which I think is pretty good. So yeah.
You sure he doesn't have like a lazy eye?
We don't. I mean, what? Ryu broke his eye, right?
No, he just gave him the scar on his chest.
I thought it went all the way up to his eye.
No, it's just a scar on his chest.
Okay. Jarrett Green is the only human that knows the story of Sagat's Missing Eye. We'll have to ask him. Get it straight from the source. We talked about the IGN stuff. Drama. There was a response video that went up today. I'm sure the Input folks will be talking about it next week. So tune into Input. I feel like they just had a little bit of they had a lengthier discussion about it. I mean, I don't know how much there is to say here. Plagiarism is bad. Intentional or otherwise.
IGN can't catch a break.
Yeah, dude.
It hasn't even been a year since the
Vincent Giannito stuff.
Yeah, so
dude, I know. It's rough too, and like it's just like of being the biggest outlet for video games, pretty much. Like they get the brunt of you're paid for reviews. Your reviews are bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Like so, it's just like
Call of Duty gets 10 out of 10 every year for whatever reason.
So yeah. I just sent Barrett a message, our good friend Barrett Courtney, who is a game capture producer over there. I was just like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm sending good vibes your way. But he's doing all right. So, there was a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct announced mid Melee Evo finals. I don't know if it was related or not. I assume like they were like riding off the hype train for that. For Wednesday, and that happened, and it was fucking good, man. How do you feel about this Direct, Nabashin?
I thought it was fantastic,
dude. I was so hype during the whole thing. I've watched it like 4 times.
I did too.
Okay, good. It makes me feel a little bit better. I know Blessing Adeoye has watched it 6 times, so. But yeah, man, it's just fucking exciting. I don't know, man. But yeah, I watched the Easy Allies reacts like 4 times as well. The genuine Kyle Bossman laugh in that is worth it. Worth the click alone.
For the Luigi part?
Yeah, the Luigi part. So good. So good. Everything about it is great. Here's a kind of rundown of the big hits. Obviously, it starts with, if you don't know by now, you've been living under a rock. Simon Belmont finally joining the roster. And what was cool was, they did a great, CG announcement trailer for his character, as they've done for all the kind of new characters for the past few Smash Bros. Games. And it was great. It was like Luigi's Mansion themed. Luigi's walking through Dracula's castle, seeing all the spooky shit. And it's like, man, this is perfect. I really hope Scott has seen that. Because I know he loves Luigi's Mansion, so it's right up his alley. But yeah, then fucking Death from Castlevania shows up and murders Luigi. It's fucking so good. Like, literally uses his scythe to rip Luigi's soul out of his body. And then just all the headlines afterwards of Nintendo murders Luigi in Smash Direct. Which is great because Ridley murdered Mario in the Ridley announcement video. And by the Mario Brothers sacrifice, we are here. Simon Belmont was announced, but they didn't just go that. They did it. They made Simon Belmont and a Echo fighter, so like a kind of clone fighter with slightly different abilities, or slightly differently stylized abilities, possibly with different effects. Richter Belmont, which is a weird choice, I think.
I don't think so.
I know a lot of folks were pulling for Trevor Belmont, Trevor Starkey out there pulling for Trevor Belmont, Trevor for Trev. I thought it was a cool choice, though. I feel like Richter is he's a very more stylish character. Again, my only association with Richter Belmont is watching the Game Grumps play Castlevania X. So that's all I got. But so they're the same character, essentially, just different versions of that character. They did mention Simon's moveset, that base moveset, is somewhat based on Richter's moveset from his game. So what's it?
Dracula Chronicles X.
Dracula Chronicles X was the Super Nintendo remake, but the original PC Engine game. Oh, not Lament of Innocence. I keep thinking it's that.
No, it's like Blood something.
Yeah, Rondo of Blood.
Rondo of Blood.
Rondo of Blood, not Riondo. Not Rihanna of Blood.
Rihanna of Blood. I was about to say that.
Rondo of Blood. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I thought that, like, that, and they're like, hey, we're gonna fucking do a Castlevania stage. It's Dracula's castle. It's exactly what you want. Also, our music team was very excited about having Castlevania music in this game, so we have 34 different music tracks for this one level. That's such a great thing. Castlevania's got fucking good music, so everything about this was great. In addition to that, they announced two more Echo fighters. Crom, who is an Echo fighter for Roy, and he's from Fire Emblem Awakening, and Dark Samus, an Echo fighter for Samus, based on her Metroid Prime 3 design, which is cool. I don't know why, but I'm kind of down on Dark Samus, which is dumb because I was like begging for Ridley for years, but whatever. I like the villain representation. I like more Metroid characters, so I'm here for it. But Dark Samus was like an assist trophy in Smash Wii U, so I guess I just didn't expect her to make the. We've never known an assist trophy that made it up the ranks. You know what I mean? But what was a bummer was Alucard was delegated to assist trophy. And I think Alucard is way cooler than Richter, but also he has a completely different moveset, so that would have to have been a completely additional character, and that's a lot to ask. But at least he's in the game, you know?
Weird question.
Yeah.
Are you pro or against Waluigi?
I am against Waluigi.
Same.
I am anti-Waluigi being an independent Smash character. What is his moveset? Someone tell me. Fight me. Mike Burgess out there begging for Waluigi to be in this game. He's a goddamn Mario Tennis character. He walks around, stomps people as an assist trophy, and hits them with a tennis racket. That's all he deserves. I just don't know what he would do, you know? Like, it's fine. Like, I get why people are upset. But, you know, I don't know what he would do. I genuinely don't. A couple of, I guess, also I won't leave it for the end, but also at the end of the direct, they announced King K. Rool is gonna be a fucking character in this game, which is the most random but amazing addition. It's beautiful. That trailer for King K. Rool also great, so good. Everything about it was good, and King K. Rool finally coming back. The last appearance was Donkey Kong 64. They're bringing him back. And he's great. He looks very good. How did you feel about K. Rool?
I loved everything about it. It's pretty great.
It's pretty yes.
No, I'll save it till after we get done with the certain part.
Sure. It's they were like, hey, there's gonna be 103 stages in the game, so not including Battlefield, Big Battlefield, and Final Destination. That is 100 stages. But all of those stages also have their Battlefield and Final Destination forms. So technically, there's over 300 stages. But really, it's 100. And you can... all stages are available from the start. And big for me was all stages are usable in 8-player Smash. They kind of brushed that under the rug. But I remember like the kind of dumbest part about 8-player Smash is like, well, we can only use these 4 stages. So now it's kind of cool that you can just play Smash Brothers with up to 8 people. Like that doesn't feel like a separate mode. It's just like, and up to 8 people, you know, which is cool. That I saw that, oh, almost sneezed. I like coughed and then stopped sneezing. But I was like, man, I'm really bummed out that this game won't be out before Extra Life. But, you know, next year, I guess. But yeah, all stages available for play from the start. There's a Monster Hunter stage. Rathalos is in this game. I know you probably missed that, Tony, but the Rathalos.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but great.
It's pretty great.
You can just summon a Rathalos. It is a boss enemy on the Monster Hunter stage, but also you can summon it as an assist trophy.
I'm glad that they used the Rathalos instead of a Rathian.
Yes.
So.
Go for the big boy, you know? None of this half-measure shit. You can set it up so you'll transition from one stage to another mid-fight, which is great. There are 800 musical compositions in the game, and an additional 100 from like the Smash Brothers like menu music and original Smash Brothers music itself. I mean, a lot of it is original compositions of those different medleys or whatever for Smash, but I mean just like Smash music, like that game's music. And like they were like, hey, also I guess you can make playlists and just play the music from Smash Brothers on your Switch like an iPod, like so it's in sleep mode and you can play music from all of this 900 plus tracks on your Switch like an iPod, which is great and dumb. I wrote down here, because I'm excited about it, that Stamina Battle is an official mode that you can do. I think Stamina Battle is cool. They're bringing it back from Melee, finally. You can set it so Final Smashes are built as a meter instead of like an item that you have to break the ball for. So like a super meter in, say, a fighting game. The Final Smash is weaker, but it's more accessible. I think that's cool. I think that's a cool way to play the game.
Definitely using that mode.
Yeah, right. That's going to be cool. And they announced a couple new modes. Squad Strike, where you like you choose 5 characters, 3 to 5 characters, or it's 3 or 5 characters against another group of 3 or 5 characters. And you can do that, like, everyone has their own character, or you play 5 different characters, which I thought was cool. Tournament mode with the most intimidating Mario glare that you've ever seen. And a mode called Smashdown, where essentially you play until basically if you play a character in the next round, all of those characters cannot be chosen, and you play until all of the characters have been used, which is cool. It's kind of like elimination, which I think is rad.
Were you as excited as Tim Geddes about like having to have your custom rule set and never have to like
I was pretty excited.
Change it to stock every episode?
I'm like the one dude that likes time battle.
I do like time battle. Time battle's fun.
It's fine. I like it because it's like there's no point where I have to sit this match out. You know what I mean? which I like that, especially if you want to just play like a pickup match and it's like, hey, let's just all have fun, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. I feel. Yeah, I didn't really get the stock thing. I mean, I do get the stock thing. I play stock every match I ever play with Mark. So like, stock is fun. It's great. I love it. But like, yeah, time is good too. Just like everyone can stay in there and have a good time, even if they're not that great.
Yeah, especially for like if you want it. Like I liked playing 8-player Smash on Wii U, and it's like cool. Like, but if we do 4-stock 8-player Smash, it's gonna be We're gonna be here for a bit. Strap in, everybody. Whereas like if you set it for like 5 minutes, it's like cool, we can get to the next round pretty quick. But yeah, I think it's cool. The one thing that kind of weirds me out is picking the stage before you pick your character. It's just I'm just a traditionalist, I guess, but I get it. It just, you know, the way they present it, they also like they showed the menu at one point and they're like, we're not talking about this big green thing we blurred out. And it's like, all right, guys, way to be cheeky about it, I guess. Maybe there'll be a single player mode in this game. Who knows? Sakurai was so hurt about Subspace Emissary being leaked on the internet that he burned Smash Wii U to the ground. There's no single player. But I don't know. I feel like it isn't an Ultimate Smash Brothers if it doesn't have some kind of adventure mode. That's how I feel about it. And maybe Sakurai feels that way too. But yeah, I don't know. The custom rules is cool. I like that you can just set it so people can stop fucking complaining about it. You can do default or whatever. I love just the level of customization. Like they showed, like you can set Echo Fighters to be all separated out on the character select or integrated with their like original character. So stuff
separate
like that.
Or nothing.
Yeah, separate or nothing. Show me the whole roster, baby.
Give me these 500 characters in this fucking game.
Yeah,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
So many. I'm into it though, right?
I am too.
Like, let's just get like this is what Smash Bros. Is. We got 70. We're up to like 67 characters.
Give me more Echo Fighters. Give me Shadow for Sonic. Give me Zack for Cloud. Give me all these dumb
Ooh,
things.
Zack for Cloud would be cool.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I feel like I thought of one. I know. When we talked about it on Show Me Your News, Dixie Kong for Diddy Kong was an idea that they had, which I think is cool. I like that Dr. Mario and Mario are separate characters though, because
that is so weird to me, but sure.
Because he has a different down B, and it's like,
yeah,
that's
but the only two.
But fuck Dr. Mario. And also Pichu and Pikachu are separate because like Pichu hurts himself when he attacks, and it's like, yeah, but fuck Pichu. Give me Raichu for Pikachu, guys. Except he's a Pokemon that you can summon, whatever. Oh man, I'm trying to think of the one that I thought of. I thought of a good one, but I can't think of it anymore. Oh, Ken for Ryu. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. I feel like that will probably actually happen though. So, but yeah, overall excellent. I was so like I said, I watched it like 4 times. It's the same direct. I just watched it a whole lot. I saw, because I watched the Easy Allies react to it twice because I'm a fucking loser. And then I saw that Tim Geddes had a live reaction. I saw that just today. I didn't see it before. I was like, fuck, now I got to watch this. I'm so excited to watch this. I haven't watched it yet, so. So fucking thanks for the spoilers. No, but shit. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was liquid hype. Everything about Smash Brothers is always just so hype. Overall, very good. They said they have a few characters left to announce, but they do plan on announcing all the characters before the game comes out. So I imagine probably in a couple of months we'll get maybe a couple more characters, and then just before it comes out, we'll get the last character or 2. So either way,
like I was saying, like Simon Belmont was like the missing piece for what
he really was.
Except from that, so like anything else now is just like it'll be a complete surprise to me, honestly.
Yeah, I can't. Like I've been joking and I'm pulling for it. Like you can hate me all you want. I would love to see Goku in this game. I know people would be upset. Some people will be. Mike Burgess will be upset about it. I'll narrowcast. I know he's out there somewhere, but
literally in our chat.
Yeah. But okay, good. I didn't know if he had come back yet. Oh, he's talking about it in the chat too.
Mm-hmm.
What does Goku's moveset get out of here? Dude, I can think of Goku's moveset in a heartbeat, right? And you should listen to Podcast Ultimate because at some point you might hear it. But also, like I was looking, a lot of the characters seem to be coming from that ballot that they did. Like K. Rool, for example, is a big one from that. Simon Belmont was a big one from that. And Gino was on that, just saying. And Paper Mario was on that too. I would love to see that. I know 3 Marios in the game is a lot, but there are fucking 3 Links. So whatever. I don't know. It's shaping up to be so exciting and so cool. Yeah, Simon Belmont's such a... Because you can play a match where it's like Pac-Man, Mega Man, Sonic, Mario, and Simon Belmont. Like, what a fucking video game. And Ryu. And Bayonetta. Like, and Cloud Strife. Like, it's like that you could do an 8-player match with those characters and be like, man, this is a fucking video game, huh? It's just like, that's great. Like, you can't say that about video games. And the thing is, like, in the Melee days, we made fake dream rosters like this.
Right.
I still can't believe Cloud Strife is in this game. It makes no sense, but it's amazing. So yeah. And Bayonetta. Just for you, Namashin. Red Dead 2 gameplay demo was also shown this week. Not a whole lot to say. I was really impressed by it, though. We texted a little bit about it, Nabishin. I know you're in just because you're in on that game, but you're not sold on that game. That's how I read it.
Yeah. It's something I'll definitely buy day one and still enjoy, and I know I'll enjoy it. It's just like there's nothing like there for me to like get me excited, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Which is fair. But for me, and we texted about it, like my takeaway was, and again, I for point of reference, I've not played Red Dead Redemption 1, but my takeaway was, like, to me it seems like they are doing for like emergent character interaction what Breath of the Wild did for emergent gameplay interaction, and kind of like their weird physics system applied to this open world and kind of problem solving in real time. It seems like they're doing a similar thing with characters where it's like, really it could go like 20 different ways and you can kind of decide and dictate how that goes. Like, I love the idea of you do a crime and somebody sees it, and you can like threaten the witness and kind of scare them into silence. Like, stuff like that I think is really cool. The demo is up on their YouTube channel. If you watch the GTA Online and GTA 5 gameplay demonstrations way back before GTA 5 came out, it's very similar to that. Calming female voice telling you how this video game done work. It's good, and they said like this is the first one of multiple ones. And like the next one, they're going to talk about activities and Deadshot and missions and stuff. It's weird because so the boys were talking about it in Slack, the IP folk, and they were like way not into the idea of managing a camp, and I was like, that's like honestly my favorite part about it. It kind of reminds me of the metagame from like Fire Emblem Fate and XCOM, where it's like you kind of return to your hub. Or like Mass Effect, honestly, you know? It actually kind of reminds me of Mass Effect more, now that I've really put that together. But like, you know, kind of like going back to the Normandy, gotta check in with all my dudes, you know? My ladies and my guys, like, hey, how's it going? What's new? And talking to everybody, and then that will lead to new side quests for that specific character, is kind of how they set it up. I'm like, that's really cool. Like, that's a really cool idea. If you were going to build a gang of criminals, that would be the way I would want to do it. Building loyalty with them, kind of like another video game where you build relationships over time with somebody, just saying, Persona. I think that's cool. I think that's the way to do it, and that kind of system works for me, you know. So that, fuck, does that game look very very good. Graphics. I don't know how Rocksteady makes video game. Not Rocksteady. I'm sorry. Rockstar. Too many rock in the beginning of studios. I don't know how Rockstar makes games look as good as they do, but somehow they just like They get video game hardware, like consoles and whatnot. They know how to optimize. So, yeah, it looks good. There's like that one animation in there where like the horse kind of like galloped back and then turned around. And I looked at that, like I watched that second of video over like 4 times. And I was like, fuck, this looks really good. So yeah, it got me interested. I wouldn't say I'm sold yet, but got me interested. Now you've got my interest. Now you just got to get my attention. You know what I mean?
Right.
In addition to more gameplay demos, Doom Eternal had a gameplay reveal just today. That game looks fucking good. Did you watch this yet, Namashin?
I watched all of it.
Oh yeah, dude. Fuck. It looks like a very good extension of Doom 2016. It's a grappling hook. There are side and air dashes. Glory. You've got a sword, and you've got like 2 swords, like an actual like glowing demon sword, and also like this wrist-mounted blade. You've got like a gun, like a turret mounted on your back left shoulder. It's fucking bonkers. But also, I alluded to it earlier. They're planning for release next year, and it's coming to PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Switch day one. That's cool. Like, I know it's not going to look nearly as good or whatever on Switch, but that commitment to that platform is really cool, especially after Doom came out on Switch and people were like, it's fine, you know, it's okay. It's not the best way to play this game. If it's your only way, it's still a great game to play. And then they patched that game and they tried to make it better, and they did make it better for that system. So the commitment to that platform is really, really cool. And it's another one of those. It is. I would not put it in the tier of like Valkyria Chronicles 4 of like, this game doesn't have to look amazing. Like, Doom looks really fucking good, but they're putting it on Switch. You know, they're gonna make it work. And I think that's cool. Good for Switch owners, you know. But yeah, any thoughts on Doom, Namashin?
I like it. It's fucking rad. It's as good as the first game. I'm very excited to play that again.
Mm-hmm. Weirdly enough, it's, you know, I talk a lot of shit about like gore and like overdone gore and like dude bro heroes and what protagonists, but there, you know, Doom just gets it, in my opinion. I feel like the Doom Marine is like exactly what he should be.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way that game is brutally violent, I feel like it doesn't like fetishize it, you know what I mean? It just is. And I think part of the reason it works is because it is so fast, you know? It doesn't linger in it.
I really did like that scene, that cutscene where it was just showing the Doom Marine just walking around
dudes.
With regular people. Like, I've never seen that before. And like, it's just like, who the fuck are, oh my god, it's Doom Marine. Like, just tripping over themselves and seeing him.
That one scene where he like goes up to the guy sitting in the rolly chair, grabs the badge off of like that's hanging from his neck and just pulls him along with him and scans it, and then just walks away, and the dude's fucking horrified the whole time. It's like, this is exactly who this guy is, and it's perfect. Because he's not like murdering these people because blah blah blah, haha, video game's fun. He's just terrifying. And it's like, yeah, that is who the Doom Marine is. He's fucking horrifying. You just watch him run around a battlefield and murder 1,000 demons. You don't want to fuck with him. Yeah, like there's like 2 guards in front of an elevator, and they're like, hey, you're not supposed to. Oh shit! And he just takes the gun out of the guy's hand and goes to the elevator. That I was not expecting that, and that was good. It's very good. So yeah, a lot of gameplay shown off for a lot of video games this week. We're getting back into the newsstands. A couple of quick hits at the end here. World Ends With You Final Remix. The Switch version of The World Ends With You, exclusive to the Switch, is coming out October 12th. For those looking out for it. I know Scott is going to be very excited to hear that, and I know you're on board, Namashin. I'm excited to finally play that game. And Persona 3 Dancing Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing Sunlight? Starlight. God, I always fuck up that one.
Wow.
They're coming out in the United States December 4th. But apparently originally I totally forgot that they were saying like, yeah, they're not going to make it out until early 2019. But yeah, ahead of schedule. So they're both coming out December 4th. There's like a dual pack. I think it's $100. And you can get both of them. If you were lucky enough, there was a price error on Amazon, and you could get both for $60. I was not lucky enough. Single tier. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Excited for more people to hear the Persona 3 music, cause it's fucking good.
I'll have you know
Mm-hmm.
that there was a Persona collab running in Puzzle and Dragons when I came back to the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which had like leaders and subs of like all the major characters from Personas 3, 4, and 5.
That's awesome.
So the leader that Scott and I use most frequently is Makoto Yuki and Orpheus.
Very cool. Orpheus.
And then
very cool.
Scott has Amamiya Ren sub on his team. So, you know, we're representing the Persona people.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Soundtrack for those games, you know, they're 2 rhythm games. I doubt I will be very into these games, but just because I'm not super into rhythm games, I wasn't super into Persona 4 Dancing All Night, but I love the music of those games, and fuck, man, they got me. I'll buy whatever. I'm going to buy Persona Q2, which they also did like a full unveiling of that this week. It's like, fuck, man, they're putting out a 3DS game. All right, I'll buy it. I'm just starting to get over the heartbreak of never finishing Persona Q. So, yeah, they got me. I'm in. But yeah, if you want to dance with Morgana and Aegis, I've got great news for you. Video games are letting you do it December 4th. That's it for news. That's all I pulled.
Pick your brain.
You want to take a break?
Pick your brain.
Oh, pick my brain.
Brain.
Sure. What you want to know?
This is your opinion on something. You know, we always had this discussion about like not really versus, but like what Japanese games show and what American games show, and like the feelings you get from like both of those things. And I just wanted to know how you feel about like, because we have like such a good representation with all this stuff with probably like with Evo and like with their announcements of obviously with Smash as well, and then now with all the stuff with Doom and Red Dead Redemption. Like, how do you feel about like that comparison again, about like the feelings you get across when like one like the how one thing is presented and how another thing is presented? I just want to know your general thoughts on that.
What do you mean necessarily?
Like you know, like how I famously say like people will cry over like a new Zelda game, but like no one will cry over like Last of Us 2 being announced or something like that. And like obviously I step back on that one a little bit, but like do you feel like in general like the feeling that you felt with all the stuff that was announced with Smash Brothers Ultimate, do you feel that like that's like equal to like how do you feel like it's like a more personal thing, or do you like that feels you like I could weep over this, and like would you get that same way for like the way Red Dead and like Doom was shown off?
So Doom, yes. Red Dead, no. Because I feel like especially the Doom presentation, like they knew their audience very well, right? Like those guys came out and they were like, we're gonna show you a lot of this game. 3 separate gameplay demos actually. You know, and the one thing we didn't talk about with Doom is like this, they have a new system in there where you can invade another person's world as a demon, which is pretty cool. And they said like, you know, you can play that game not like that, or you can squad up with a bunch of people and invade as a group of demons in their world and fight their Doomslayer. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like, you know, it's very Dark Souls-esque. And weirdly enough, I feel like it fits Doom. I think Doom, they totally crushed it. Like, you know, they showed that game the way they did. Like, for Red Dead, like, I liked what I saw. It definitely did not evoke emotion in me. You know, they just fucking dropped a trailer on their YouTube channel, pretty much. They streamed it out, too, live, but, you know, like, that's how Rockstar does it. That's how they do their thing, which is... I feel like they have a bit of an ego about them, which, you know, not that it's undeserved. It's just like they certainly haven't deserved it from me personally. As far as Smash Brothers is concerned, that is definitely a personal thing. Like that, I have a lot of personal investment. Like, you know, we were talking hype about Smash Brothers, and Logan's like, I don't know why you guys are so excited about this game. I couldn't give less of a shit.
I mean, that's I fight back on that one a little bit. And this is Logan, but whatever. But
yeah,
I love Logan because
but that's Logan,
like,
you know.
Yeah, I know, but like, you can say you don't understand, but you can like, I think you can still feel something from somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see someone getting like some welled up and emotional. It's like this is like you can't believe it. Like the fucking Tales of Vesperia thing. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's something that like mostly everybody else doesn't really like care about, but like I felt that for you because like I was like, oh, they put that shit on stage. That's an amazing feat.
Yeah, it's
and like
wild.
Yeah, and that's what like that's what made me freak out about it. And like I don't know, it's just like I do agree, like Doom did have that. And like I feel like Red Dead is like the usual thing that we usually get. It's like as far as like when something is presented in a video as like showing off a game, like even like Spider-Man doesn't really like, evoke emotions out of anybody. It's just like, oh, that game looks cool, it looks fun, and like I can't wait to play that. But like I feel like something like the way like everything that was showing off is like evil and like even like and of course like Smash Brothers is like I can't wait to live that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like makes sense or not, but like
it does.
I don't know. Like it's just like I think there's just like a way that like it's done is presented the way Japanese games are presented. And maybe like I said, this is just a total bias thing, and it's totally a me and you thing. But it's like it's just a way that they do their things, the way they show off their things, and the way they just like they know what you want, and they pull at it, and like they immediately show that to you, and you get that. And like even if that game doesn't live up to it, it's that moment. It's just like fuck. That's what you have to walk around. Like you have to feel that way.
Yeah, I gotta pace around my fucking down here in my studio for 45 minutes after that Tales of Vesperia announcement. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And like I said, I think Doom did do that very, very well. And like I think The Last of Us 2, when that got premiered, did that extremely well as well.
It's a bit of like where, when, and knowing your audience, right? Last of Us 2 premiered at PSX. It was like, it was so good because it was so unexpected, one. But also it's like, that's the audience for that, you know?
Another good example, like something like Ghost of Tsushima, which is like your standard gameplay showing off a game, and then like something like Resident Evil 2.
Yes.
Like what that game was showing off. And it's like fuck, and it's like yes, I'm hyped for this, and like yes, this is like something I want to play. Like you know,
a big part of it's lineage, though. You know, like these Japanese franchises just have lineage, and because so many people grew up with like, you know, these mysterious games from the East, like Japanese development was more shrouded and had more fanfare because it was so off the wall or bonkers or whatever. Like you think of that first Metal Gear Solid 3 trailer, you know, where it's like Snake and Raiden fighting over the chair. Like, yeah, man, like that's a fucking trailer about fanfare and lineage, right? And that was like a TGS trailer too. So like again, to the right audience. So yeah, I think like. I also think it's because like a lot of Western media is just the same. Like, you know, it's not just Red Dead, but it's also like Avengers and, you know, Shazam. Like those things kind of just get dropped on you, and like we put up a trailer on YouTube. Be excited. It's sure there is like the Comic-Con part of that for Shazam, for example, but. I thought like Avengers actually did a pretty good job where they did like the whole here's our 10 years thing and all the fan reactions and whatnot. That pre-trailer the trailer for the trailer before they did that first Avengers Infinity War trailer. So yeah, I think maybe to be fair, like I feel like maybe it's less true now, but we are more the exception than the rule, just because we were way into Japanese games.
Fucking sure, dude. Like I'm not saying like this is like an absolute thing. It's like it's just something I feel. I think when something's like trying to play to your base, it's like something where it's like like it's more of a feeling than when I could put into words, but it's like I guess it's more is like it's hard to put in words, like I said, but like it's something that you just feel, and like it's something that you like. It's like a visceral reaction that you get.
Yeah.
When he shows something off that like putting a sequel to something, like when he eventually announced the next Mass Effect game, I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. And then it's like, like it's
to
like,
be
okay,
fair, they'll probably announce it with fucking concept art though. So
but
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's like more of like respecting your audience, or it's something along those lines where it's like, if they ever announce something like Tomba 3 or something stupid like that,
dude.
and it's like,
hell yeah.
How do you think that game would be presented compared to like something like another Siphon Filter game? That's what I mean. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think like they know that they need to cast a wide net, so they go for it, right? They go bigger, they go weirder, they take bigger risks. I think they just like they're Japanese developers and the folks that make those trailers from Japanese studios, like they feel like fans as well as developers. Whereas I think there's like an out of touch feeling from a lot of Western announcements, or just a very frankness to it, like that Metro Exodus announcement trailer, right? Didn't light anybody on fire. Looked great, but didn't light anything on fire. To be fair, on surface value, the Tales of Vesperia trailer also didn't do anything, but it was just, like you said, it was where, when, and how it was shown.
Even like something like the fucking Metroid Prime trailer, like the Prime 4, it's just a logo, but it was like,
but it was hype.
Yes,
because it's like we've waited for this. They're saying it's Prime, so they're telling you what kind of game it's gonna be.
It's like the acknowledgement is like enough.
The first Metroid game to be announced in 28 years,
Yeah, and then like I said, it's not like it's perfect. Like the Pokemon one was garbage, but like that's why I'm just saying like something like that. I don't know, dude.
No, it's that third Kingdom Hearts 3 E3 trailer, the Pirates of the Caribbean one. It's like they did 2 before that were very good, and then. Well, I guess they had the moment in the first one with Aqua got Norded, but that third trailer was like completely different, and you're like not expecting it. One, because it's the fucking third trailer, but also because of like how out there it is. Yeah, no, I'm we're on the same page.
But I know this is the exception, not the rule.
To be fair, but like we're also two people that host a video games podcast, right? Like
right.
Tony, when was the last time a trailer got you fucking blood boiling?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
But like I think back even to at the Game Awards or the VGAs at the time when Dark Souls 2 was announced, I lost my fucking mind because like I just wasn't expecting it. And also it was a good trailer. They shown these knights walking through these dragons and shit. It's like it's crazy. It's on a whole new level. So yeah, I don't know. I just like Uncharted 4 was announced to but the game is still one of my favorite games, So it's just you're right. There's some level of presentation that, and maybe it's the experience. Like Japanese video game development is much older than Western video game development, but still, or traditional video game development. They both were in different camps. I don't know, man. That's a good question. I'll think on it. Fuck, man. Just now I'm getting all hype about Tales of Vesperia. Getting all worked up. Getting those Tales of Vesperia sweats. Let's answer some questions.
Yep.
You can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod. Just use the hashtag IPQ, and we'll read them on the show. You can also email us, mailsack@irrationalpod.com, voicemail line. Leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. Let's take some questions. Andrew
Give
Taylor.
them to me.
I will feed these questions to you, Tony.
Feed me.
Andrew Taylor at Papa Drew Bear on Twitter says, how hot was that Simon Richter reveal? Also, how sad is it that we don't get to play as Kink Boy Alucard? Fingers crossed for some Trevor Belmont DLC. Love some Trevor Belmont DLC. He was very hot. The moment where Richter comes in was so unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck, they're doing another character from Castlevania. Shit. Everything about that reveal is perfect, though. I don't think it could have been done better. I'm still bummed out about Alucard. It's fine. He's in the game, at least. Right? I'd be more upset if he was not in Smash Ultimate at all. But, there's going to be Symphony of the Night music in that game, too, which is very exciting. Alucard, he's fucking hot, dude. I don't know. Have either of you watched the Castlevania Netflix series?
No.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta watch it. He's fucking hot. Season 2 is coming October. John Ferguson says, at Hangman, on Twitter, at Hangman522, he said, Alex, you tweeted that you never played Red Dead Redemption. How come? Also, what makes you want to play Red Dead Redemption 2 since you didn't play the predecessor? Tony, have you ever played Red Dead 1?
No. Well, I played a little bit of it, probably the first 20% of it, and decided it wasn't for me, and haven't really touched it ever since.
Have you ever really gotten into a Rockstar game?
I like the GTA games.
Okay.
You played all of GTA 5, right?
I played all of the GTA games all the way through.
Okay.
Including San Andreas and Vice City?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I need that about you. Yeah, it's a bummer, too, because, I always say, with, sad recollection, that maybe Red Dead would have been, the Rockstar game for me, right? Or Bully, one of the two. But I heard about Red Dead through my close friend, and then and he's gets obsessed with all Rockstar games, and he finished it, and then after he finished it, before I even had the chance to check it out, he told me how it ended, and I was like, man, now I just kind of don't want to play this game. Not because I didn't like the ending or whatever, but I felt like a lot of the impact of that game had been taken away from me. And then I just lost interest and never got around to it. I played the first hour or so on Xbox One, and I just didn't like how it felt. Maybe I'll go back to it. The thing about Red Dead 2 is I kind of already mentioned it. Specific things kind of called out to me of this seems really cool, or this is a great idea, or this kind of emergent gameplay, etc., etc. That stuff really caught my eye, and it. It's kind of a bummer because Red Dead 2, like you said, Nabashin, is about John Marston, who's not a good guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Rockstar just doesn't make games with that person as the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you a tweet that George Cruz had quoted, but someone just tweeted out, I apologize, I don't remember who it was, that it's just this misanthropic person living in these beautifully crafted words and for worlds. And for folks that don't know, misanthropic is basically a person who just hates people, hates the humanity of people. And that's that's all of fucking GTA 5. It did not do anything for me. But I have a lot of issues with GTA 5, but I'm hopeful. You can kind of play as a pretty honorable dude, it seems in Red Dead 2, much like you could in Red Dead 1. So,
but my issue is the little nervous dissidents or whatever. Is you're still in a gang, you're still going to do heists and stuff like that. So it's as old as the old video game trope it is, this is begrudgingly done by John Marston. He doesn't want to rob somebody necessarily. You could make him do it, of course, this video game, but it's all about him trying to get his family back. So it's this is all this shit.
I'm hopeful there's more to it than that. We still don't know really anything about the story. We just know it's a prequel. So you play as a different character, so it seems like you just play as the one guy, so but I guess we don't know for sure yet. Yeah, I don't know. Something's caught my eye. The thing is, I will say a big detractor, I guess, for me is like, the Western aesthetic doesn't do anything either way for me. Like, I don't dislike Westerns, but I've never had any love for them. But, so, I don't know. If the game plays better than the standard Rockstar game, which unfortunately I just doubt that it will, but if it does, we'll see, I'm at least interested. Like I said earlier, I'm at the very least interested. Alex Van Aken, friend of the show at It's Van Aken, host of the OK Beast podcast. He says, Doom launching on Switch the same day as the other platforms is pretty big, right? With Bethesda leading the charge, do we see other major publishers follow suit? Or is this a natural occurrence now that we're deeper into the Switch's lifespan?
Recently, like Steep got canceled for Switch, and it got canceled.
Steep was coming to Switch?
Yeah.
So steep, dude.
Steep as hell.
Yo, you could kill that guy in Steep.
And they pretty much flat out said like they canceled it because of they wanted to keep their like live services going for like the original Steep. So it's like they wanted to keep their online elements, so they just like pretty much like canned the Switch port for that. Like the thing about Bethesda is like they make a primarily single player game, so like I think that's why it fits better for the Switch, and like they don't have to worry about too much about online or like when someone takes it portable or go outside with it, because like you can always have that experience. And like something like the Division 2 or something like that, you can't put that on Switch. You can obviously, you can put. I'm pretty sure you can. It's just a matter of just like that loses like half the value and you can't really take it anywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, to be fair, Doom Eternal will have multiplayer, and the single player does have multiplayer elements. But I
can also turn that off, though. So
yeah, exactly. I see what you're saying. It's not necessary. And primarily, I think the selling point of Doom Eternal will be its campaign, much like Doom 2016. But yeah, I think Bethesda did kind of like double down. I think they committed. But also like fucking Skyrim sold really well on Switch, as it did everywhere, always, forever. But because it's fucking Skyrim. But I think Doom and Wolfenstein 2 probably did. I don't know about Wolfenstein 2, but I know Doom did do okay on Switch. Right, it wasn't a waste of money for them. And like I said, they invested in that. They patched that game. They tried to make it run better. They optimized it better, and it made a difference. It helped. I think that's cool. Like I think Bethesda is leading the charge a little bit here, but I'm optimistic that other publishers will do well. Like I know Capcom is kicking themselves for not putting Monster Hunter World on Switch. Not that they could necessarily, but it was a missed opportunity for them. And like Namco's putting out Dragon Ball FighterZ for Switch at the end of next month. They got the beta running over this weekend. I have it downloaded. I'm curious to see how it looks and runs on that. Publishers are trying to get there, it's very different. Like the Switch has already sold like 7 million more units than the Wii U in just under a year and a half. So it's doing really well, and games are selling really well on it. So I think it's just the natural thing. Will a lot of stuff release date and date? At some point, yeah. Valkyria Chronicles is a good example. Doom is a good example. I don't know if all games can just work on Switch, but I think where it is appropriate, like in the case of Valkyria Chronicles 4, they're going to do it, for sure. And also, like, indie games like Dead Cells make perfect sense. So, and there's going to be a lot more of those. I'd be curious, like, if a Dark Souls 4 happens, do we see that on Switch day and date, for example? I don't know. It's hard to say. Darksiders 3 isn't coming to Switch. I'm a little bummed out about that. But that is a bit of a... It's a good-looking game. It's a bit of a graphics powerhouse. I think it is. I think it's a big deal that Doom Eternal is coming to Switch day one. I'll say that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool. Trevor says, which Smash/Nintendo characters would you sacrifice to the Midnight Channel in a trailer announcing Risei Smash Ultimate? Or I feel like we can open this up to other Persona 4 characters. I like the idea of like just another main Nintendo character gets killed in the announcement of another like guest character. It's Yoshi for sure. The Yoshi. It's fucking murked. Yoshi like lands in the Midnight Channel and he's like surrounded by that blue Yoshi from Super Mario RPG. Just a bunch
Boshi?
of them. Boshi, yeah, he's surrounded by a bunch of Boshis and they just fucking kill him.
I'm into it.
You're in it, right, Tony? It's a good look.
Yeah.
I feel like Yoshi would be the character though. I'm not gonna lie, because he hasn't had a lot of fanfare yet. They already killed Mega Man. They already killed Mario. Maybe Pac-Man. I would love to see Nintendo murder the beloved Namco character in the announcement of another character.
That'd be pretty good.
It would be pretty good.
What if it's just Waluigi?
Waluigi just shows up with a gun.
Just like, I'm here, and then Risei comes like, no, you're not.
Yeah. No matter what, it's Yoshi. Yoshi's dead, man. I feel like he's got the biggest axe on his head.
Would you kill Yoshi to go to Japan?
Yeah. Man, what a deep cut, Tony. That's still a funny joke.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, listeners are gonna have to dig deep in the archive to find that one. I'm pretty sure that was the episode title. It was like Greg would kill Alex to go to Japan. I believe it was the title. So. Folks can dig it up.
We gotta like have Greg on at some point and just ask him that question again. Just see what happens.
I feel like it'd be a harder yes now than it was before.
You think he would remember?
Absolutely, I'm pretty sure he thinks about it every night.
Oh, okay. As he's like brandishing his knives or whatever.
I see Greg pretty much once a week.
Yeah.
So, him and my roommate Ethan have a movie night every Tuesday. Usually, they come over. He comes over. They drink beer, order Domino's, and watch a movie together.
Sounds alright.
Yeah. I don't hang out with him because fuck that. Socializing, I'm out. Tyler Treese at Tyler Treese says, "What DS game took the most advantage of the two screens?" A random but good question.
Brain Age.
Brain Age is really good.
The world ends with you.
Oh, also very good. Hotel Dusk did a really great job holding it on the side like a book. I thought was very cool. Those are all very good answers, I think.
Also 999.
Oh yeah.
You just don't know to the end of the game.
Can I ask a question that might be a spoiler for 999, Albashin?
Uh-huh.
Is the whole thing that you close the DS? Because if that's it, then it's not that great.
What?
Like, because you said like there's a thing where like the two screens do come into play. Is it that you close it and then open it again?
No, it's not that, no.
Okay. Good. Because I feel like a couple of games did that. Hotel Dusk does that. And Phantom Hourglass, Zelda Phantom Hourglass does it as well. It's a good trick the first time you do it, but diminishing returns afterwards. Brain Age is really good. Answer, Tony.
Good game.
It's a good game. Shout out to Brain Age. They did a 3DS Brain Age, right? At least one of them.
I think they did.
I think they did. Brain Age Ultimate. Dude, let's put the guy from Brain Age in Smash Brothers. He was an assist trophy in one of them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
King Mike Rule, which is a great Twitter name, at Mike Hits the Wall, Mike Burgess himself, says, "Hello, hi, Smash Bros. Podcast host here, and I would like to know when the first IP intramural Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament will be held. Thanks." I would say Extra Life 2018 this year when we're all together, but it's going to have to wait until next year. Jared and I talked about possibly doing a 24-hour event mid-year before Extra Life. Essentially making Extra Life a twice-yearly event.
Mm-hmm. Could we perhaps entitle it the Irrational Podtacular?
We could indeed call it that. Keep the dreams alive.
Yeah, dude.
So I guess it would be in May, 6 months before Extra Life, but Irrational Passions Live. Joke. I would do that, yeah. Whenever we have enough of us together again, and Smash Brothers Ultimate is out. Listen, you can hear Mike on this week's episode of Input, and also he hosts Podcast Ultimate, which you can watch on youtube.com/irrationalpassions. Scott White replied to Mike's question with his question of, I would like to follow up Mike's question as to whether or not there will be an exhibition tournament for Smash Ultimate at PAX West with a trophy. There won't be, but I can tell you this, Scott, Mike, and I are going to play Smash Brothers at PAX West. I'm very excited. I'm hoping it's a build with Simon Belmont in it. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but...
No way.
Hey, man, keep the dreams... Let me dream, Nobishin. Play with me. Come into my play space and play with me. I just saw that Cameron Abbott in our live chat made that joke not too long ago too, which is funny. That's it. I think that's it for questions. Silver PR just tweeted me saying, do I send a voicemail? I forgot. Got it ready to send. I could tell him to send it.
Kind of.
I feel like we're going a little long. We can save it for next week. It's okay. That's it for questions then.
I've listened to your voicemail, Silver PR. I still love you.
I still love you, Silver PR. Don't make this about love. That's it. That's it for questions. Thanks everybody who asked questions. Appreciate all of you. Again, as a reminder, email, voicemail, tweets. Best way is probably Twitter. Tweet your questions at IrrationalPod, the hashtag IPQ. But if you're like Nobishin and you've divorced yourself from Twitter, mail sack at IrrationalPassage.com or 404-590-1337. It's a voicemail line. That's the show. A couple of closing things. If you want to follow Irrational Passions, kind of get updates on when we're doing stuff and making stuff and putting stuff out, IrrationalPod on Twitter is the best place to do it. But you can also follow us at Irrational Passions on Instagram, youtube.com/Irrational Passions, obviously. You can watch the live video version of the show, the podcast, live every Friday nights around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Some other stuff. Rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play. It helps us out a lot. I'm trying to get IP and all of our podcasts up on Spotify. Working on it. As a heads up. So look for that soon, hopefully. Check out our other shows, Input and Get Acquainted, and Podcast Ultimate. I should put that in there. Input's video game news show. Get Acquainted is a one-on-one interview show. And Podcast Ultimate is a seasonal podcast about Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, it's IrrationalPassions.com. That's it. That's the end. The end of the podcast, which means it is now time for bets. This week's bet, let's see what Nobishin came up with. I actually don't know yet. This week's bet. The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 1, releases on August 14th. Ooh. I didn't watch the trailer. Did you, Nobishin?
I did not.
Okay. On the IGN review, how many times will I see the word zombie? Now, Tony,
Hey.
You do have the option here, before we write our bets, to double down on NATO. Would you like to double down on NATO?
No.
Okay, you want to bet this week. I like it. I did get NATO's bet for last week's bet, for reference. So. I guess write up your bets. When you're ready, you can send them in our live chat. Ooh. Nobishin said 3. Tony said 2. I said 1. I like where all of our headspace is at. Because they call them walkers in The Walking Dead. I think it's fair to say that they might reference them as zombies in a review.
Yeah, then zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
Stuff like
true,
that.
true. Yeah. That's good. I like that. So again, for folks listening at home, if you want to bet along, The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 1 releases on August 14th. On the IGN review, how many times will I see the word zombie? Let's take a peek at last week's bet. In the Monster Hunter World Steam reviews, in the top most recent positive review, how many times will I see the word monster? I gotta dig this up. Do you know how many like concurrent players are on Monster Hunter World, Tony?
I can look.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, I feel like it's
2007,000, I believe it was last year.
Ooh, the reviews are mixed on Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World, current players 235,920. Peak today 400,000. No, that's Counter-Strike. Peak today 292,595.
All right, see full review. Ooh, this is a short review. This is the most recent positive review, posted August 9th. I guess, let me see. This might not actually be the most recent. Review type positive. Display as. Can I do? That's most helpful. Browse all reviews. Show most recent. There we go. Oh my god. So the bet was in the Monster Hunter World Steam reviews, in the top most recent positive review, how many times will I see the word monster? I bet 3, Nobishin bet 10, NATO bet 12.
Oh. You guys Yeah, I wasn't sure about this one letting NATO bet on it because it was a Steam review, not a professional review.
Mm-hmm.
So like most Steam reviews are like 2 words.
It's true. I can go off the front page one or the kind of deep one. The front page, the deep one is a little short, but it is the most recent. It's 4 words. It says, use a controller, Debbie.
That's 3 words.
Use a controller, Debbie. With like an exclamation mark.
Uh-huh.
That's funny.
Debbie supposed to be dummy or?
I don't know. Might be.
All of the negative reviews on Monster Hunter are Chinese spam. For
Really?
the most part. Yeah, if you look at like negative reviews, it's all like just a couple Chinese characters and not recommended.
Interesting. Monster was used 0 times. I'm sorry, guys. So we still only get 1 point. It's not like you guys lose anything. But yeah, that brings Team Nanashi's total up to 41. And Team Ligma. Oh yeah, the Ligma balls joke that Scott made last week. I totally forgot. Still rock hard at 29. Also, sorry, Nobishin. That's it for bets. That's it for the show. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, you lovely folks out there, for watching and or listening. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of 2-Player Co-op and our closing music of The World Is Saved. Thank you. Thanks to the team at IP for putting out amazing work this week and next. We got some great stuff coming. So excited. As just a reminder before we close out here, since we only got a couple weeks beforehand, if you're going to be in Seattle at the end of the month for PAX West, let me know. Let all of us know at IrrationalPod. You can come hang out with us. Say hi. Give me a hug. I'm a hugger, not a lover. I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm just tired. I'm very tired. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nobishin, for joining me as always. Big hugs all the way around. Love you guys. It's a great show. I feel good about this one. Put this one in the books. That has been the whole show, and I have been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week.
Titles?
Titles.
Who won the bet?
I did. Oh yeah, I didn't get my final word. Let's work it into titles. Smash Brothers is liquid fucking hype.
Okay.
Again, it doesn't need to be said, but I wanted to say it again.
I'm down with General So. A dip in the strip. Do you smell what the Vath is cooking? Puzzles, dragons, and waifus. Real hunters use gamepads. The sequel to Fire. Broly, the child of a baby. Castlevania, Rihanna of Blood. Would you kill Yoshi to go to Japan? And use a controller, Debbie.
That's a good one, actually. I like use a controller, Debbie, because the only context for it is the very end of the show. And it's also very just funny. Use a controller, Debbie.
Yeah, come on, Debbie.
What the fuck are you doing? Using these mouse and keyboard controls. It does echo what you were saying at the beginning of the show, though, Tenny.
What?
Of like, I prefer the controller. Not the Debbie part, just use a controller.
Got it.
Jeez. It's a long night. What do you like, Nabishin?
Castlevania, Rihanna Blood.
I do too. That's a good one. Tony, what do you like?
I like a lot of these.
Yeah, I like a lot of these too. The sequel to Fire, I totally missed that. This time it's personal.
I like I'm down with General So.
I like that too.
You know, I got Chinese food last week, and I asked them to cook it with MSG. I was like, just please use it. It's supposed to be in there.
Were they?
And they're like, okay.
Were they like, we don't do that? Okay.
No, because like I'm not gonna get into this because I already did this earlier this week. We had this conversation, but MSG is scientifically proven not to be bad for you. It's safe. It's people. It's just like it's a stereotype based on like years of racism against Chinese people.
Yeah.
People were like, I don't want to support Chinese business. I can't eat there because they use the MSG chemicals.
Isn't it like just supposed to enhance the flavor?
It's a vessel for umami.
Ooh, okay. Ooh,
so I'm
umami.
just like, I'm getting Chinese food. I'm like, yo, put the MSG in that shit.
Were you hungry 30 minutes later?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think it might have been one of my brothers just trolling me when I was growing up. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's got MSG. It makes you hungry 30 minutes after you eat it."
No, that's just Chinese food in general, regardless of what's in it.
Okay, cool. It's good though. Makes me eat cold Chinese food.
Hell yeah.
Cold Chinese food's real good.
Irrational Passion Podcast, episode 389, cold Chinese food.
Let's do Rihanna of Blood. You guys want to do it?
I'm out.
Come on, man.
Did I do it last week?
No, Namishin and I did it last week.
Oh, all right.
I know I'm making Namishin do it twice in a row. It's episode.
Let's get Scott to do it real quick.
Yeah, loop him into the call. It's just like people screaming into the background the whole time. He's like, "Yeah, this is why I couldn't record."
Yeah, like this would have been the whole time.
It's like, yeah, shit, you're right.
This is the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 389.
Castlevania, Rihanna, Blood.
I'm trying to think of an umbrella joke. Under my umbrella, Ella, vampire, fire. That's all I got. You can stop recording now. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the live broadcast. Y'all are wonderful, and we love you very much. And have a good evening.